trust the science. Boy, I don't trust them people as far as I can throw they butt. I'ma tell you about your little spit DNA test that is for entertainment purposes only. Now, what we want to see, I'm gonna tell the Native Americans, I'm gonna tell the indigenous so-called Mexicans. You can't be indigenous and Mexican. Mexicans is a made-up term. It's a misnomer. We gonna keep telling y'all the same thing. Pull out them records, buddy. Show us. I want to see what they came up with your spit. Pull out some paperwork. Show us what you talking about. And since you want to trust your enemy so bad, show me one of your African cousins on there, Port City. Oh, and for the Mexicans and the Native Americans, show me when they dug up a mummy and they tested it and it said they got sickle cell. Show us that y'all got the sickle cell trait, because those are the Maya. We know we got the sickle cell trait. So somebody needs to stop lying over here, okay, buddy? Prove to us you're not off an orphan train, and prove to us that you come from Africa.
Listen to me.
Hold on, let me say something real quick. I'm gonna let you go. For the people in the chat, when he said that they do a spit test, you gotta spit in the tube. He swabbed the lizard's mouth and put the saliva from the lizard inside of the tube. That's how they get it from the lizard. Lizards can't spit, so therefore he took the saliva from the mouth and stuck it in the tube.
He surely did. I saw the video.
Port City.
Put it in there.
Oh my God! All right, what if I could just talk?
Yes,
let me just talk this out. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Port City. Anytime when a man is on the currency or a female is on the currency, they are considered royalty. All right? Is that understood? Now, when you see a king on a dollar bill or currency, that is because that is theirs. Anytime when you see sharecroppers on the currency, that is because the land that they are cropping on is theirs. That is not a slavery thing. Nobody is going to take a bum off the street and say, put them on the currency. Yeah, that's it. Are you an idiot? What the fuck?
He was talking. You could hear the fear in his voice of the sellout. Like while he was
this dude ran as soon as I popped up.
All I could hear in sense was just
hey,
like.
Tia, I see.
But I'ma end mine. If you ain't down for the Africans here in the United States, here in Point Blank, if you ain't down for the ones that suffered South Africa from apartheid system, damn it, you need to step your punk ass to the side and let us brothers and us Africans step in and start putting some foot in that ass.
That's what they told us today. In other words, you still a slave. No matter how much money you got, you still ain't shit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I have to die today, when you go Africa right now, I'm dead.
Is they're taking the swab? They don't do that. You have to spit in a tube and put that in a tube and submit that.
So don't you think he probably swabbed the mouth
I'm just
and took
saying
the saliva from the lizard and put it in the tube?
Hey, but look, y'all don't gotta believe me. It's okay. My second thing, real quick. I won't be on here long. Real quick. I want to show you guys, because David ain't here, right? David popped off real quick. David showed you guys currency, right? With y'all on it, right? I want y'all to know that this is slaves being depicted.
No.
Yes, it is. These are slaves being depicted on Confederacy currency.
Why would they put slaves on the currency?
Hey,
David, when you go, David, I drop down for you to come back up.
Where David at?
Where's David? Hold on, I got a question for Port City. I got a question for Port City since he got when was that article written?
That's all.
Port City.
There's David right
This wasn't an article. This was.
I got something real heavy to lay on you, man.
During the time,
even Godly's laughing at you.
I'm asking, when was that written?
That's a good article, Port City. That's a good article. Yes.
CZ,
that's a good article, Port City. You got the best free piece on this platform.
CZ, can you stop yelling?
I'm out.
Port City got the best receipt.
CZ, can you stop yelling? I'm trying to have a conversation. Look, now he dropped. I didn't even get a chance to ask him.
And you said go straight to the results, correct?
Yeah, I just was curious about your DNA results.
Okay.
Your DNA assessment.
The results right now. Okay. My results, it says Nigerian, 38%. Cameroon, Congo, West Bantu people, 18%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 14%. Benin, Togo, 10%. Senegal, 5%. England, well, you just interested in the African part, right?
You know, mostly, I just wanted to see what percentage-wise of African DNA is running through your veins, my brother.
Okay, it says 30. Well, we got that part. Nigeria's East Central, 2%. And that's all I see. Oh, yeah, Mali, 4%. That's all I see concerning the continent of Africa.
Okay, good deal, good deal. My second question was, how much Native American ancestry do you possess?
Well, according to Ancestry.com, again, it says I have Indigenous American, Bolivia, and Peru, 1%. And Indigenous Americans, Mexico, 1%. Well, less 1%.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the motherfucking press. I ain't coming for no foolishness.
I'ma end mine. If you ain't down for the Africans here in the United States, period, point blank. If you ain't down for the ones that suffered in South Africa from apartheid and shit, damn it, you need to step your punk ass to the side and let us brothers and us Africans step in and go put the foot in that ass.
That's what they told us today. In other words, you still a slave. No matter how much money you got, you still ain't shit.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If I have to die today for this little African right here to have a future, I'm a dead.
Like Montel Jordan's.
Is this the giant you talking about? Is this the giant?
I didn't know that ain't no giant.
This is from the same article that you pulled up.
Whoa! That's not from no state. I showed you 49 giant. I showed you.
No, homie. This is what you talk. So this is supposed to be us right here.
Hold on. Slow down. I showed you a whole map. I showed you a map of thousands, of hundreds of thousands of giants. I didn't show you just one giant. I showed you the proof that they've been found from coast to coast. What do you mean? You're showing here's an article. Here's an article. I showed you that. Where's okay, show me the map. Where's the map then?
Right there.
Where? Okay.
This is the same map right here.
Okay, that's one giant. That's one giant.
No. Let's go back and read what this shit says.
Read it.
Say what you just said.
Read it.
Right?
Okay.
So this map right here says, they do find giants. I asked you specifically. I never denied giants, and we gotta figure out the definition of what a giant is. Anybody can be over 8 feet tall and considered a giant. But I'm looking for a date. I'm looking for a date. Let's look for a date. Does it say on here how old these damn giants are? That's the point. What's the point? What's the old? How? It says right here. Recent radiation, recent radio. You haven't read this shit.
I read this whole thing. I read the whole thing.
Oh, you did? You would have read this right here.
All right, keep going. Keep going.
This right here says recent radio.
Zoom it in so we can see it. Zoom it in.
Yeah, I am. Can you see that?
There we go. So we can learn. Can we learn too? Everybody can learn.
Right. This is a great serpent mound. It's about 1,370 feet long, prehistoric effigy mound located near Pebbles that has been thoroughly researched, right? Who has written extensively about it. And this is only 31. This is the only date that we have. This is too young. And are you saying that we are giants? Are you saying that we are descendants of giants?
Yes.
Okay, so these are your ancestors, not mine, homie. That's
they are. Yeah, they are. You no, because you look like one of them hominids. You look like a hominid.
Nah, that's you. That's so.
You look like a hominid in the face.
Oh, hold on. Let's go back. It says this was a hoax. Get the fuck out of here. This was a hoax. You know that, right? It says the same.
Man, look, whatever. Look. That's
this was a hoax.
That one's on, but you can't. See exactly.
So, like, that's a hoax. You see it right there? So you're saying we descend from these people right here? These are our ancestors, y'all.
It's a hoax! But I showed the water systems, and I showed that where they find those giants is directly on the water systems. The correlation of that map makes those two things absolutely facts, my man. You can try to throw all this magical stuff around all you want, but everybody just seen everything what I just showed.
Mr.
It's a fact. It's a fact that okay, so they didn't find the giants coast to coast then? It doesn't say that in that same source.
This is a hoax. You're saying we were descendants from people that look just like this, bro. And we're not.
They found them in the mount. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna talk while you talking. I don't like to do the talk while you talking. I'm gonna let you. So are you gonna talk and then I'm gonna talk or what? How's that gonna go? It's the same shape of where they come from, boss. The XI right there in your face. George shoots and he scores. That is the origin of the X, my friend. Now, what say you, Portland City?
Good deal, man. Okay, so that's where we got the X from.
That's where the origin and the X and the I come from. Yes.
Wow. I think you know, I find that kind of strange. Real quick.
Wow.
Let me share my screen.
Wow.
Real quick. Since we're talking about X's and stuff.
Wow.
Let me talk too, man. Don't be talking over me now.
Wow. Wow.
And when Port starts, you gotta mute up with the wows.
I'm gonna just go real quick back to this X right here. Y'all see this X? This is a close-up of the hieroglyph, or the Kemet, right? Whenever you go to the Luxor temple complex, you'll see X's all over that predate the whole Mayan civilization. Like I don't understand how you can sit up here and tell everybody on the live that the X symbol comes from America when I'm here in Africa pointing at that shit right there. Now this is the temple complex of Ramses, and I believe this temple predates the Mayan civilization by thousands of years. So they was using this X symbol as part of the name of Kemet. The X, like you see in X-Men, it symbolizes crossroads. So that's just letting you know whenever you see an X like that in Kemet, because you saw it in Kemet first before the Americas. That's what that means. So I gotta call BS on that because you find these symbols first in Africa, nowhere else. Like it came from Africa, homie. Like if you want to go there with the whole X thing, I just want to point that out. But this particular X means crossroads. You got the Kim. All of this right here tells you it says Kemet. There's a better picture of it right there. This is the illustration, and this is me actually in Kemet. And this X is older than the X that Earth just showed y'all. Real quick, that X is older. So my X is older than your X. So I'm gonna X you out. All right, you get X'd out. Peace, family, peace. What's up? Poor City coming right black at y'all. Right now, we got the debate about to pop off between Mo Factz and Lord Natural. Here for about an hour, we've been trying to get the audio and the visuals on it. We're having some issues trying to connect StreamYard and merge the Zoom. So unfortunately, family, I'm gonna have to share this via the TikTok. That's the only way my brother can get in there. So I'm gonna get out the way and I'm gonna share this screen. Thank you guys for all coming in. Appreciate you guys for filling up the whole room. Make sure you guys hit the like.
Put this junk back up there. All right, there y'all go. Y'all off black. Port, you hear me? All right, boom. Let me mute on here.
You hear me, bro?
You hear me?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna have a little delay on the YouTube. I mean, TikTok. But you hear me? Let me make sure. All right, we're gonna have a little delay on the YouTube. I mean, TikTok. But you in the chat, right? Go to. Oh no, you on my shit. My bad. Go to his live real quick. You in the chat, right?
That's who blocked me.
He live, yeah. Tell him to the passcode. Oh no, you on my shit. My bad. Go to his live real quick. He live, yeah. Tell him I need the passcode.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna do that. He blocked me on so many damn accounts. Let me make sure.
Talking about
I don't see this fool.
To reading passcode.
Did he send you anything?
He said copy the link in Google to take you right to it. What? He said copy. He said copy the link in Google to take you right to it. What? What's that? That don't sound right, sir.
Yeah, this would have been simple, family, if he would have just simply allowed us to share this. We're having issues because of him.
Okay, he said just drop the link, and that don't make sense. I thought I had to go through my Zoom. So boom, through there. Okay, he said just drop the link, and that don't make sense. You have to leave this.
I'm getting
all right, leave and join.
I'm getting a double talk.
You have to leave this to join the new meeting. All right, leave and join. Oh, let me mute up since I'm already on that. Hold on. Let me join this shit real quick. Oh, let me mute up since I'm already on that. Boom. Join this shit real quick.
Yeah, I don't even see him live because either he blocked me, so I can't track him on there. I don't think he understands that.
All right, bet. There we go. But I can't hear him now. Hold on. Join with computer audio. This meeting is being live streamed. Got it.
Yeah, family, thank you guys for coming. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Right now, we're having issues trying to share this, man. Mr. Natural's being all incognito with sharing this, man. This is supposed to be a public event where we all have an opportunity to see it. And I'm all about sharing things with the family. So we just need the proper link so we can cross this thing over and share it. But shout out to everybody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you on mine, Mo. You good?
But you can't see me?
Can't see you. I can hear you.
How do I turn this camera on?
So he's more than welcome to come over here. Oh, you hear me, Mo? Here's another thing. He's more than welcome to come over here and can share whatever he want to do over here. I'm not stopping him from coming over here. I don't mind.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm on TikTok.
Okay. But give him that opportunity to come over here. But I doubt if he take it.
No, that's on my phone. I was telling Port that I'm on TikTok on my phone.
You hear me though, Mo?
My camera should be on here.
Mo, did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. What you say?
I said, like, let him know, because, like, we're trying to share this to the family, man, and let him know that, like, he can come over here and I'll share him, share the link with him. I know he's not going to do that because he's going to feel like we're just sharing it to our audience. But I mean,
hell no, I ain't doing that.
Leave this shit over. We deserve to be able to see this shit and let him know. But it should be easy, man. He should, like, I give fucking Earth credit, man. He didn't give a shit. He showed right on up. He's like,
all right, we're just gonna have to run it.
Are you in correspondence with him right now? He blocked all.
Wait, hold on, Yahweh. Hold on, Yahweh. Wait a second. Port.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with who's talking to me.
Oh,
so
my
I'm gonna
bad.
have to go.
My bad, family. So yeah, sorry, family. Sorry, family.
Yeah, that's all. We were just trying to fix the video, but we about to just go ahead and run it. So y'all pay attention. Just watch. I'm gonna have it on TikTok, and we about to go in.
All right, family. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
All right, what was you saying? Go ahead. My bad.
Oh, I was just saying he can come over here and he can share his shit. Everybody can see it. I doubt if he takes that. Dude, I doubt if he want to operate like that. I'm just saying.
All right, let me set up this background, or take this background off.
Yeah, do your thing though, bro.
But yeah, it's Mo Factz.
Let me know when you engage with him so I can shut the hell up.
I know we got a lot of different names we calling ourselves: Black, Indigenous, Americans, African Americans, and all of that. Whatever. I don't see us here pre-colonial times. That's my stance from the research I've done for the past, I don't even know how many years. It's been at least 10 years. And I'm just waiting to see that. I do have the stance that I do not believe that the information has been presented thus far with the people who have the same type of skin, or some people have the same type of hair. They may be missing the features that exactly, make them the whole package. So I don't think that they have the full package. They may have the hair, they may have the skin, they may have the toes, it's some things that line up, but I just don't think that's us. And hopefully we get to the bottom of this tonight.
We can't hear him. Mo, we can't hit shit. We can't hear him, y'all. What in the fuck?
It's proving that Negroes was here before colonization. Again, proving that Negroes was here before colonization. I'm gonna come from all points, from archaeology, from Renaissance to colonization, to firsthand accounts from the natives themselves and from the colonists themselves. Various different angles, you know what I'm saying? And I believe all Negroes, it don't matter what type of Negro you was, all Negroes is indigenous to all parts of this earth. It don't matter where you are. Negroes started every single thing on this earth regardless. And that's when I'm going to be proving that Negroes was here in America and they came here way before slavery, way before colonization. You know the rest. All right. So here we go. Mo Factz, would you Ashley, I would like for you to go first, and I want to ask you, how many minutes do you want?
I would prefer 10 to 15 minutes. But now
Okay.
I don't mind. I don't mind going first. I can go first. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute.
All right, time out, y'all. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna share this on YouTube. My bad. He's on YouTube, and I'm gonna share it from that joint. Give me 1 second, y'all. I just realized that he is shooting on his YouTube. Hang on, everybody. Hang the fuck on. We gonna see this shit tonight, y'all. Hang on. We gonna get to it. Where the hell is shit at? Come on, yo. Where the fuck is it? Give me a minute, y'all.
How many minutes do you want?
I would prefer 10 to 15 minutes.
Give me a minute, y'all. Hang on, my bad.
And I'm going to be proving that a Negro isn't exclusive to Africa. Basically, it's exclusive to anybody that is of a copper color or someone that worked or either or. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the wrong folder. My classification is in labelism. Excuse me.
Can y'all see this, family? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see this. And hear it.
Labelism. Okay. And now this is the first one I'm tapping into. Right here. The Factz on the File Encyclopedia and Word Phrases and Origins, the 4th edition. And I'm going down right here. We already know that this word is a derogatory term to Black Americans, but I'm going down here to show you it's a derogatory term to Indians as well. And it says, the N-word has also been an excessive derogatory term applied to Indians as well as Blacks up until recent times. Indians and Blacks until recent times. Moving on to the Oxford Dictionary, the word the Negro or nigger or which way, whatever word you want to use, a dark-skinned person of any origin, in the early U.S. usually with reference to American Indians. So the N-word was applied to American Indians as well. Now here we go. It says the next source is the American Historical Record, and it's 1872. Again, this is stuff we already seen before, and we're going to be dealing with this. This is about the Marshfield Indians. This is just an example, and I'm skipping down to right here, and it says here the terms colored persons, Blacks, and Indians are synonymous. They all mean the Marshfield Indians. Okay, and also when you're dealing with the word mulatto as well, it says both these questions refer to their tucks who was called the same day both Indians and mulatto. Thus, it seems that Brewer, who called their tucks the mulatto fellow in 1770, was justified by an act of the incorporation which called Indians mulattoes in the 1760, which it did mean mixed. That was just another derogatory term that they called them, then they later changed. All right. Now I'm going to the book by Jack D. Forrest, The Native American and African. And I'm going right here to, which page is this? Okay, I don't have the page. And it says, as the reader will see, there is hardly a racial term which has a clear and consistent meaning over time and space. For example, the term Indian or Indio has been applied to many peoples, including the Indians of South Asia, as well as all groups found in the West Indies, the Americas, which we will prove later on. And it says the East Indies, the Filipinos, the Chinese, and the Japanese, etc. The term Negro has been applied to Black Africans, the Indians of India, Native Americans, Japanese, and slaves of whatever ancestry, Black, and has been used for all of the above for non-whites in general. And it says, by way of illustration, in attempting to grapple the problem of Black African Native American mixture, and especially with the question of what extinct African Americans throughout the Americas are part American Indian, it is first necessary to focus upon the clarification of such radical or ethnic terms as were used in the colonial and early national periods. Key terms include mulatto, pardo, color, free color, Negro, Zambo, or Sambo, or Musty, or Mestizo. Now, again, this is a modernistic book, so it is going to have these modernistic ideas when it comes down to Native American and so-called believing that Black people of America is African. So it's gonna say some things like that. But the main reason I brought this point out is to show that Negroes was applied to many different peoples and many different graphics of peoples. All right, now going back to the Oxford Dictionary, it says a dark-skinned person of any origin, I will say it again, a dark-skinned person of any origin. In early U.S., used usually with reference to American Indian. I know I already brought that out, but another one. This shows you the African and the different associations of different graphics of people around the world. It says being a dark-skinned person of sub-Saharan African origin or descent, belonging or relating to dark-skinned people of sub-Saharan African origin or descent. Also occasionally designating any dark-skinned person. So again, you know where this is about to turn to. We already know where this is going to head. So basically, the reason I'm putting all this out, okay, I got 3 minutes left. Basically, the whole reason of me explaining this is to show that Negroes was we was reclassified as Negroes, for one, during the Racial Integrity Act and the Racial Classification Act. And basically our identity was mainly a big assumption. So when someone sees our skin color, or someone sees us with a thick nose or with coarse hair or an afro, some of us with straight hair, some of us with no hair, yada, 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 you automatically assume that we are African, and they throw all these foolish ideologies to make you believe you are African and throwing an identity on you, rather than looking at your ancestors and where you come from with real tangible record. And that is the problem. People of today literally reject colonization books and manuscripts and etc. when it proves that Negroes was here before colonization. The whole reason I started this whole process with dealing with the word Negro is to show you how broad it is, and that we cannot sit up here and say that Negro means you're from Africa. That is not true. Now I'm gonna read this last one right here to prove my point. It says this still means the word Negro. It says a person who does menial labor, any person considered to be of low social status and derogatory. And you see down here, it tells you, etc. It said, I was born to make a N-word of myself in a free country. Okay, and then it got it some more down here. How it's derogatory. But anybody of any nation can be a Negro. It's the modernistic person. It is the modernist who assumes that Black people are African and African alone. So it really falls upon you and your intelligence, not the truth of every single person that's in America, every single black person in America, it doesn't show that they are African just because they are called a Negro. And I yield my time. I don't have anything else to explain on this. The next part, I'm gonna tackle the law stance on this term Negro, showing proof that black people was Indians and got reclassified as Negro through Congress as well. I'm gonna show you from the law stance as a part 2 to this Negro business. And I yield.
Bet. Good job.
I gotta get my share.
Let me know when to wait. Let me share my screen first. It says you will stop the other screen sharing. Do you want to continue?
Okay, there you go. Cancel. Can you screen share, or do I need to make you a host? It should be at the bottom next to the chat box. Okay, there you go. Oh, let me start the timer before you go ahead. All right, there you go.
All right, boom. So what I think is happening is the same issue that happens with this entire spill. Can you hear me, or am I muted? Am I unmuted?
No, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So what I think is going on is that things are happening in reverse. Everything is happening in reverse. So we have to go back to what the Negro is, right? And we're talking about language. People are speaking, right? So the word Negro, this is from the African American Registrar or Registry. And I'm gonna blow this up a little bit so we can look at this. And I'm gonna go through a few definitions here. Well, it's gonna be for the same word. But it says a member of a dark-skinned group of peoples originally native to Africa, south of the Sahara, via Spanish and Portuguese from the Latin Niger, Nigri, or black. Usage since the 1960s, when the term black favored as the term expressed racial pride, Negro, together with related words such as negress, has dropped out of use. It is now regarded as old-fashioned or even offensive, in both English, U.S. English and British. Okay, so we know that it had negative connotations, and when we're looking at history, this is why it's important to look at history as an African descendant. Because if you're an African descendant, right? If you're not, it doesn't matter. But if you are, you have to look at these words in the context of where they originated at. And it's these people who we already know. Before the people who are African descendants reach this land, we have already interacted with them, and they are already calling people Negroes. So that's why when they go somewhere else, they go to the Canary Islands, if they see somebody dark, like the Moors and stuff, we're going to get into that later, they call all types of people Negroes, Berbers and stuff like that. They will call them Negroes, but they are not Negroes. That is the racist ideology that the European created. That's his social construct. That's what he did. But that has nothing to do with us when we're coming out of all of his bullshit and we have to study history. And this is the etymology of the word right here. And I did this because I know that this is something that's common in multiple communities, in our community, but in multiple facets of our community, and people would respect this a little more. 1550s, member of a black-skinned race of Africa, from Spanish again, and Portuguese, negro, black, from Latin, nigrum, nominative, Niger, or the racist one version of it with another G, black, dark, sable, dusky, applied to the night sky, a storm, the complexion, figuratively gloomy, unlucky, bad, wicked, according, and we know where it goes. This is how they use the word. This is the context that they wanted to attach to it, and that's what they did. And we have to keep that in mind, because remember, they're calling us this, and they're also given the definition for what they say it means. So if they want to loosely use it with and tag it to anybody else, that's what they want to do. But they're calling those people something that they called us. So yes, you can go to Colombia, you can go to the whole Hispaniola, Caribbean, you can go to North America, you can go all the way to Australia, and you will call those people out their name because you feel like they are us, the people that you first met in Africa. And as we go further in our presentations, we're both going to run into these descriptions, and they continue to use the Negro or the African to describe the people that they're seeing, because they're like, oh, those are those same people we see. Or they go, well, they got the same skin as the people in Ethiopia, or they got the same hair as the people in Ethiopia, right? They're comparing it to the people that they already seen. So because they made a mistake and thought these people are of African descent, they don't get a pass. Plus, this is their literature. They're supposed to be racist in their literature. Their goal is to make everybody a slave, but everybody's not from Africa. That's their mistake, and we're not supposed to pick it up. All right. I also want to point this out, and this is still a little premise that I'm setting because I want to make sure we're clear at how we're approaching this. All right, this is Stephen Williams, Fantastic Archaeology, The Wild Side of North American Prehistory, Philadelphia University of Philadelphia Press, 1991. It says reviewed by Diane E. Worth. And I just want y'all to pay attention to this right here, what it says. It says Stephen Williams is Peabody Professor of American Archaeology and Ethnology and curator of North American Archaeology for the Peabody Museum at Harvard University. The intent of his book, Fantastic Archaeology, is to expose certain North American finds as hoax. They're hoaxes, most of which were purportedly discovered in the 19th century. In line with his debunking of sensational finds, he is extremely critical of scholars who support the validity of artifacts which they claim contain characters of possible old origin. The author labels these scholars collectively rogue professors. Okay, so this is a thing. This isn't something that was hidden. This was so prominent. It was so common in the public. The guy is writing a book in response to it, and it is part of the curriculum. What we call pseudo, it's not something we made up in our community. Pseudo historians and pseudo archaeologists are a thing, and they stopped shunning them and started accepting them into the fold, and they put out works refuting them all the time. And most of these people don't even hold degrees. They're usually somebody from some type of religious group, and religious groups have power. We can't deny that. And they can get into arenas where they're talking to people in the field of academia, and sometimes they are correct. So we don't have to just completely obliterate them. They are correct about some things. But I also agree that shunning them is not something that we should be doing. So I just wanted to point that out. And also this part here where it says Williams chooses to include the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith in his axe-wielding journalism. And it is for this reason a review of his chapter, Archaeology and Religion, where Angels, Fear, and Tread is warranted for inclusion in Volume 4 of the review of on the Book of Mormons. Okay, so they're including them. And that's what we all should be doing. We should be having these discussions and seeing what goes on. Now, check this out. This is decoding dates. The journey from 1619 to 1492 in America's colonial history. And I came up with this title because the information that I'm about to show next is going to reveal and show light as to why these people thought that these people were here pre-colonial times, because they were using this date here. This 1619 thing kept on popping up, and some other places is 1620 and 1630. So they would, look in between here. They're not looking at these days, but what they're looking at is people who were here in between these times. And since they start here in 1619, they keep thinking that they're here pre-colonial times, but they're not. They didn't know. That's how the European is. They're in their ego. They always think they're the first one to do something. So the Spanish conquest in America, by Sir Arthur Helps. Okay, he says right here in his preface, let me blow this up a little bit. It says, some years ago, being much interested in the general subject of slavery and engaged in writing upon it, I began to investigate the origin of modern slavery. I soon found that the works commonly referred to gave me no sufficient insight in the matter. Questions, moreover, arose in my mind, not immediately connected with slavery, but bearing closely upon it with respect to the distribution of races in the New World. Why, said I to myself, are there none but Black men in this island? Why are there none but copper-colored men on that line of the coast? How is it that in one town, the white population predominates, while in another, the Aborigines still hold their ground? So this shows you that people were confused, but they did not have the translations from the early Spanish text. We still don't have all the Portuguese works or the French works. There's still journals that we don't even get to look at yet. And they're not yet released. And we're going to continue to keep telling this story. But in the field of academia, you cannot make statements until you can prove it. So 1619 was 1619. That was it. They can't do anything until they have more evidence. And now that we have the evidence, we are looking at things that appear to be pre-colonial, but they were actually colonial. Hence to the word Negro. They're calling them Negroes because these are the Europeans that's pulling up, calling them names because they just seen people who look similar to them by skin, sometimes by hair, in Africa. Okay. I don't need to do this. Guatemala, is it? No, I'm gonna come back to that one next. I got 49 seconds. So I also want to show this right here. This is what they said. They said now to shut up all its evidence. And this is from, hold on, God. This is from America being the latest, and you know what this book is, the latest and most accurate description of the New World. Okay, and this is, I chose this book, of course, because I see you guys using it, but I want y'all to pay attention to this part right here. It says, now to shut up all, it is evident that the first planters of America were not Europeans from the dissimilitude of peoples, both in their complexions, language, and persons, nor Africans, because that in all the far-spreading country of America, not one Negro is to be found. That's out of their mouth, one of the first explorers. But go ahead, you.
All right, thank you for that brief presentation. That was pretty good. I like that one. That was pretty good. All right. Let me go ahead and begin. Now, I would like to make a statement to something that you have said about why did they find Negroes here and why certain people was over there, why certain people's over there. It's because they was going by the equator theory. They believe that certain people got their skin complexion because of the line of Capricorn, because of the line of the equator line. So since it didn't make sense to them that they was finding Negroes in different areas that wasn't even going contrary to the equator line, which showed that the theory is completely pseudo. And also that statement about they were just going around calling people Negroes in America just because they didn't know what to call them. We could say the same thing about Africa. They was going around calling everybody Negroes in Africa. So that is really a double dagger when you kind of make that statement. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. All right, we're going to go to the oldest definition of the word Negro, and it doesn't mean African. I see you went to the etymology dictionary, and the etymology dictionary, if you go read the print of them, the reason I don't use the etymology dictionary no more is because these, they've been caught, sorry, I'm trying to screen share. They've been caught editing their definitions. Like when I looked up the word dingy, hold on, I gotta stop the screen share. It ain't gonna take me long. Which screen can you see? Can you see Indians in the background?
No, I see Lord Natural versus Mo Factz.
Okay, hold on. I got the wrong thing up. Gotta bring up screen 2. Okay, screen 2. Okay, there you go. That's the reason I do not use the etymology dictionary no more. I just use regular dictionaries. I mean, the old books when it comes down to this. But when you go look at the oldest definition of this is around the 1500s as well. But it said blacks, a nation of people also called Negroes from the color of their skin. It didn't really mean what you're saying about, oh, they was African. But I just wanted to put that out there. I ain't want to stay on that long. But now I'm going to move forward to move this timer. All right, to Congress. All right, dealing with the law. And here we are. We at congress.gov, HR 1385. Also, this is dealing with Walter Plecker as well. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about this. But here we go. Walter Plecker, he didn't believe there was no Indians here. The only reason he believed in that because he wanted to save his white population. He wanted to save his own people. So he wanted his people to mix in with the Native Americans to, how you say, I don't know, keep alive the white race or whatever. If you go read his ex, he talks about it. But this bill was made based off Walter Plecker. And right here we see It says the Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau classed all non-reservation Indians as Negroes. So before they got classed, they were what? They were Indians. Which going to contrary to proving that Negroes was here before colonization, before all this classification even kicked off, before all these people was even classified to anything. These people was known by their names, their tribes, and that's it. But they got reclassified as Negro. And we all know it was all through the sake of taxes for the reason of that. But it says the Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau classed all non-reservation Indians as Negro and failed to see why an exemption should be made for the Rabbanoks. All right. And it says, therefore, in 1925, the Indian Rights Association took the Rabbanoks case to assist the Rabbanoks in fighting for their recognition and rights as an Indian tribe. During the Second World War, the Pamunkeys, the Mattapones, and the Chickahomies and the Rabbanoks had to fight draft boards. And by the way, these are Negro Indian tribes that got classified as Negroes. The Pamunkeys literally just some time ago just got their status back and they became the Pamunkey tribe. But it says had to fight draft boards in the respects for their racial identities. And it says the Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau insisted that certain Indian draftees to be inducted into Negro units. All right. So we got proof right here that the Indians these people were called Indians before they was called Negroes or whatever like that. What else we got here? It was in my mind. Okay, what I'm gonna go to now, how many minutes I got on the timer? What I'm gonna go to now is give me a minute. I'm gonna start with the archaeology. Now I'm gonna go to, I believe it's in here. Yeah, no, it's not in there. We're gonna go to the archaeology. And what I'm gonna start off with is this. I know you had said the statement that these people are rogue professors. Correction, they're called rogue professors because they do not agree with the scientific world today of human evolution from apes. So therefore, since they go against the mainstream archaeologists, therefore they're deemed as rogue, and everything that they study and everything that they present is considered fictitious because they don't go along with the main agenda of today. We talked about this before, and y'all have agreed that this stuff does take place, but y'all say y'all ain't came across it yet, which I don't believe y'all even research, even going to looking into these things. But here we go. We got 2 scores from the West Indies, male Negro from Barbados and British West Indies, and undeformed male Indian from Cuba. Okay. And it says the Negro skeletal remains. It says the monthly record of an anthropology science is called Man, 1939. And it says Negro skeletal remains from Indian sites in the West Indies by Stewart Division, Physical Anthropology, United States National Museum, Washington, D.C. And it says the recent paper in the journal by Buxton, Trevor, and Julian, Man, 1938, 47, implies that an undeformed Negroid physical type inhabited the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian times. Again, they inhabited the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian time. Not only is this implication contrary to the previous accepted findings in the Antillean area, as will be shown later, but it also fails to give an adequate consideration to the possibility of these skeletal remains representing intrusive Negro burials. All right. And it says the more presence of skeletons in a sand or shell mound in Indian origin lacking careful stratigraphic records is not certain evidence of primary association. You for to see what they talking about. Now it says with accompanying artifacts. Moreover, I venture to say that few physical anthropologists familiar with American Indian skulls would mistake for Indian those illustrated by Buxton, Trevor, and Julian. Indeed, not physical anthropologists would probably be less conservative and say Negro instead of Negroid. That's why they said what they said. making a difference between Negro and Negroid, but they still class under the same thing. Now it says, I support of the opinion that these authors are describing Negroes. I wish to present a similar case from Barbados, British West Indies, from the correspondence with Mr. E.M. Shelston and Bridgeton, Barbados. It appears that in August 1933, he commenced an excavate a sandy ridge about 50 yards from high water mark on the shore or Clarence Lane on the southern coast of the island. Okay, I'm gonna jump on down. It says, among other things encountered in this site was a skeleton land on its left side at about 20 inches under the surface. And it says, Mr. Shelston believed this skeleton to be that of an Arawak Indian. In 1937, he presented such to the U.S. National Museum. Upon reconstructing the skull from the many fragments in which it was received in Washington, I felt justified in calling it a Negro for reasons that it will appear from the following description. Now, I'm going to yield my time because all I got is 17 seconds. And when I come back, I'm going to read the rest of this. But this is my very first evidence on showing that Negroes was here from an anthropology, from an archaeologist standpoint. And I yield.
All right, good job, good deal. Let me deal with Plecker first. Hold on a second. You know what? I gotta. Does this share? Is this tab or is this the whole window? Let me see. Let's just go for it. Share. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Well, actually, you read it. Let's go to Plecker first. You read it. All right. So you gave the scenario. You gave what happened. Like you gave one of the scenarios that took place with Walter Plecker, right? And what I want to do is go into this letter that he wrote, right? Because he gets real spicy right here. And he's talking to Mrs. Burroughs. It says, our volume 1425, 1408, 9 is your certificate for the birth of an illegitimate child, Dewey Hubert Heartless, child of Martha Louise Heartless, born March 20th, 1924 at Fairfield. Sorry, this shit is kind of blurry, but just bear with me. Blew it up a little bit. It says, you state that this mother is white. We had occasion to write to you some time ago in reference to giving the correct color on the birth certificate. I don't know why they wrote it like that, but it's on the birth certificate. We are warning you of the penalty in connection with making false statements. This person is claiming to be white. They put white down. Now, whether they were white or not, we're not there to be the judge, but we do get to see a little bit of the opposition here, right? The Heartless family from Amherst County belongs to the mixed people, Indian, white, and colored. And under the new racial integrity law cannot be classed as white unless this is someone entirely separate from the Amharic, if I'm saying that right, Irish Creek connection. It says, we want further information. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me close that. We want further information from you as to whether she is connected with these people. If so, she cannot be classed as white under the new law. They don't want her classed as white if she's connected to them Irish and those Indians. You cannot be classed as white, okay? Write us at once. We want to again warn you of the trouble you are liable to get yourself into if you do not give the correct color. It is my duty to see that this law is obeyed, and I expect to do it. I am waiting for someone to violate. Hold on. I'm waiting for someone who violates this law to have them in court. If you want to be the first one, we will give you a chance. So this shows he's having a struggle. He's trying to work for this to happen. We're in Virginia, guys. Shout out the VA. Peace up, A-Town down. This didn't even work. You can see his struggle amongst other documents. In other cases, he's struggling to get this shit done, right? Now, this is the issue with understanding what's going on with this so-called classification, or as some people want to look at it, as reclassification. Depending on where you are, you could fall anywhere on the spectrum. Okay, refutation points for reclassification claims. Misrepresentation of the one-drop rule. The Racial Integrity Act of 1924, which institutionalized the one-drop rule, was not an indication of pre-colonial African presence in the Americas, but rather a reflection of the racial biases of the time. That's what it was about. We're confusing the racism of the European for us being reclassified as something else because we were something else before. That's not what's actually happening. We're just experiencing as indigenous people, African descendants, or whoever you think you are, this European is discriminating against you because of who he is and who she is, or who they are. That's what they're doing. And we're confusing that with, oh, I was already here. That's not actually what's taking place, right? Plecker's bias against Native Americans, Plecker's refusal to recognize certain groups as Native Americans, and his reclassification of them as colored. So let's stop right there. The Native Americans are being reclassified as colored. We don't need to play no games. We all grown. We all grown here. Yeah, some people slept with some people. Maybe some people came from Mali and made it over here. Or maybe some people did back migrations, and it is all types of explanations, right? But you can toss Africa all the way out like I like to. Toss it out. It still doesn't change that these people are Native Americans, and they're distinguishing between who is a Negro and who is a Native American, and who is a white person and who is a Negro Indian or Black indigenous. That's all separated from the 1400s. So there is no confusion as to who is who. These people are saying you're going to be called a Negro if you mix with a Negro. You're not going to be able to classify yourself as white if you don't have damn near blood that is depleted of anything but European, and you can have a little bit of Indian. And we're about to get to that in a second. Lack of historical evidence. Plecker's actions in Racial Integrity Act were rooted in the 20th century racial biases of Virginia and do not provide historical evidence of a pre-colonial African presence in the Americas, or as you say, a Negro dark-skinned person presence in the Americas. They're just reclassifying. And then here for this mulatto, we know what a mulatto is. Y'all have done your ancestries. We've seen you guys go through this, so I don't need to break that down. But what I do want to do is I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I want to share something else, if you don't mind. This is the Negro skeleton. Boom. I don't know if you got to approve it or if it's automatic. Am I good? Should be good, I guess. Let's go to where is Plecker? Plecker. Well, no, I still integrity. Here we go, right here. So mulatto classification. Let's go back in time a little bit so we can get this. What we have to have context. This is gonna be hard for y'all to see. Don't worry, I will go through this again. We have to go through Zoom. I'll do this whole presentation over. Trust me, y'all be able to see everything. I'll do that just for y'all, for the free. For the last 200 years, numerous Indian descendants have been fighting a legal and often racially charged battle due to historical and modern day classification. The dreaded historical beast of Southeastern Indian communities that continues to rear its ugly head is the fact that from the 1700s to the 1900s, most Indian groups or individuals east of the Mississippi were racially classified as mulatto. Whoopsies. They were already reclassified. They're already being classified. As you have proven earlier, people were calling them Negroes. Thanks for telling me, brother. They're calling these people Negroes just because of the color of their skin. Ain't that some shit? That's fucked up. And they were also calling them mulattoes. Ain't that some shit? And later we're going to get into how they called them white. They also reclassified the Indians as white people, but we're all going to be learning some shit today. But what we need to not confuse is the racist mentality of Europeans when we're dealing with our history, my people. Okay? So they're classified as mulatto. The reasons and justifications for this are rooted deeply in the history of Southern slavery, land ownership, and political power, like I just said. Prior to 1850, the federal census in most county tax books only distinguished 4 types of persons: free white males, free white females, free persons of color, and slaves. By the record keeping of the time, Indians not taxed were supposed to be recorded at all. These non-tax Indians supposedly lived on reservations and therefore were not required to be subject to federal census or county tax recordings. However, the inhabitants of many state reservations and some federal Indian land grants were recorded on these documents. Let's see, I got a minute left. I'll get to the next one after that. But in 1705, the Virginia legislature passed into law that the offspring of an Indian and a white is a mulatto. This law went on to state that if the half Indian mulatto was to marry a white person, then that mulatto and his or her offspring were to be legally regarded as white. So this document also supports what I was about to show y'all next anyway, so that's good. They're being classified as white. They're being turned from the Indian to this mulatto person. They don't know nothing about this shit. And then even further, they'll become white, okay? That can't be us. That wouldn't happen that quick. You know, we can get some passing shit going on, but that wouldn't even happen that quick. That's clearly talking about somebody else who's closer to looking like pale skin. The Virginians were using the word mulatto in its historical usage from the root word mule, meaning any crossbreed. All right, and I got 14 seconds left, so I'm gonna go ahead and yield. But like I said, we have to get into the context of these things that are happening to these people around the world historically. Negro traces back to us across the water, and over here they have their own reclassifications.
All right, thank you. Okay, starting my time. First off, I'd like to say that letter about Walter Plecker you have presented. First of all, that letter was dealing with a person being classified as white. And back in those days, if you owned a lot of money and you owned a lot of land, it don't matter what complexion you was labeled as white, for one. And two, I already brought out information showing that that mulatto was a regular derogatory term in 1760 that was given to the Indians. It didn't mean mixed. You're talking about a more recent terminology. And the last thing you just presented about Stacey Ricketts, that was completely conjecture and commentary. It wasn't no credible source whatsoever. And next time you go back, I would like for you to present the information where Stacey Crockett is getting her sources from, because that source was from 2006, I believe. But I digress. Let's continue. Now, you said that the word colored was you said that the word colored was, it only meant Indians. Well, you can see right here that the word colored persons, it says a person of African descent or Negro blood. It's two different things. So you just got cut right there. But let's continue off where I had left off at. It says, among other things encountered in this site was a skeleton lying on its left side at about 20 inches under the surface. Mr. Shelton believed this skeleton to be that of an Arawak Indian. In 1937, presented it as such in the U.S. National Museum. And it says, upon reconstructing the skull from many fragments in which it was received in Washington, I felt justified calling it a Negro. And it says, we're going to skip on down. It says, two views of the Barbados skulls are shown on plate DI2, comparison with the two skulls shown in the paper by Buxton, Trevor, and Julian Mann, 1938, plate D, indicates that the individual and sex differences are no more than would be expected of the range of variation in a single race. Certainly, however, such Negroid features is alveolar, something like that. But it says proganthism, broad nose and low orbits are more pronounced in this case in the Virgin Island skulls. And it says, in order to evaluate better the metrical findings, Table 1 contains measurements and dice of the Barbados skull in comparison with the range of variation of the 5 males from the Virgin Islands and with that 68 male Negroes from Bennington's 1912 of Gabon's series. These figures are presented for that they are worth, which unfortunately is probably very little because the measurements are very imperfect and descriptive ages, and more than one racial group may fall within the same range. Again, I said America was diversified, but I said Negroes was here. And it says the eye is able to detect racial differences. There are only masked by figures within the same range. And it says, well, what's one range? I have selected the Gabon series for comparison because it is from the west coast of Africa and it is about the best available. It is not, of course, fully representative of the population from which Negro slaves were shipped to the New World. It just told you because I know what the hell you was for to try to bring out while you brought out my source. And it says the table shows the Barbados specimen falls within the range of the Gabon Negroes, except for minimal scores, length, and cranial index. We show you that, yeah, we got some type of comparisons to them and also comparisons to other Negroes around the world, which I expect they got to use something to compare it to, which you just said earlier, but these Negroes was from here, not from Africa. So go ahead and bring out that African little part on the next part, what you about to do, because I already know what the hell you're going to try to do and talk about the skull and cranium. That my point is proving that Negroes was here before colonization. Now, what we're going to do, bring this over here. How many minutes left? I got 5 minutes. I'm still proving the anthropology, going by anthropology. Okay, so where is it? Is it this? No, I'm not dealing with the Caveira skull. Okay, petrified Negro, the Conjuring, Nebraska. It says this is a petrified Negro. Again, it takes approximately 5,000 to 10,000 years for an individual to be petrified. Now, this is the petrified Negro. It was found about 2 miles south of this city near the natural wealth by Edward Rosenster. It was that of a man 6 feet tall, well developed in a perfect state of preservation. It was found buried in bulk clay and weighs over 500 pounds. The teeth was plainly visible in the skull, head, and lips are those of a Negro. Again, how long does it take for one to become petrified? How long does petrification take? How long does petrification take? It naturally takes millions of years to petrify wood, but we're talking about human, a body. Now it takes around 2 hours or something to become petrified. How long does it take for human bones to turn to dust? It takes around 2,500 years. Sorry, 5,000, whatever. 2,500 years for human bones to turn to dust. That was funny. My bad. But regardless, it takes long for petrification. It takes up to 2,500 years for petrification. And the process can start in 2 hours. Now, they found this body, right? Now, I'm going to show you another one. Okay. It says a petrified Negro was lately found in the garret over a law office in Virginia and Mississippi. It was supposed that it undertook a study law and became absorbed in Blackstone. Okay. Let's keep going. I already read that one. Is this the same one? The petrified Negro.
Again, it says a most singular and apparently a well authenticated story comes to us from Roanoke, Howard County, and disclosing it was true, a freak of nature in the way of petrification without parallel as we suppose. The story runs of thus. And it says, and overhauling the effects of an old cabinet maker recently deceased, a metallic coffin was found hid away in the loft next to the roof of the building. And it says the top of the coffin was securely screwed down and the screws rusted in their place. Upon an attempt of being made to remove the coffin, its weight was found to be such as to justify the conclusion that it was occupied by some weighty body. And strange to say, when the top was finally removed, the body of a Negro boy, apparently 12 to 15 years of age, perfectly petrified, even to the minitus particular, was found within. And it says how this thing was occurred or how it could or should be accounted for is a mystery. Again, it takes about 2,500 years. I read another article. I want to pull it up from Brave, because I already read one that says it takes up to 5,000 up to 10,000 years for petrification. And that boy was found, and the guy that found him, I read another article on it. He found him some time ago and he hid it, and they found it. But this boy is dated to be up to 2,500, up to 5,000 years old. The petrification, and I'm still going to be on the petrification on my next go. I'll type human. Again, it's still talking about million years, how long it takes. Here it is right here. Fossils are defined as remains of traces of organisms that died more than 10,000 years ago. Therefore, the definition of minimal time it takes to make a fossil is 10,000 years. And it says human bones to petrify. I'm gonna give you 5 more seconds on that because I was over talking. But just showing you that, yeah, it takes up to 10,000 years for a human to be petrified.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Let me share this real quick. I want to, I don't want to bounce around too much, but I see I'm going to have to, let's go here. All right. And I gotta skim this real quick because I don't want to waste too much of my time. But this is the Storeroom Stories, Dr. Felix Hermanier and the Fossil of Guadalupe. All right. I'm sure you're familiar with this story. I've seen you talk about this plenty of times, so I'm pretty sure the people watching are familiar with it too. I apologize for not going in depth for the new people that may be following you now or following us now. We've already had this discussion just at a distance, but I'm glad we get to talk about this now in close proximity, right? So the petrification, right? Here, what we see with this body that they found, which they believed was old as shit before they had knowledge of, you know, how things age and rot, I guess you can say, right, and wither away. The fossil of Guadalupe speaks on the broad connections of Charleston, as well as the long history of the museum. A second Guadalupe specimen, a skeleton minus the skull, was found on board a French ship captured by the British in 1810. This find was deposited in a British museum in 1813. The specimens attracted a great deal of attention and were originally believed to be of great antiquity. Why? Because they did not know that things can petrify in a short period of time. depending on the conditions. And I really don't understand why we don't know this, because I remember my science teacher, Mr. Campbell, telling us about that in the 4th grade. And we were trying to create an environment where it could change. And we had the setups in the classroom, and different things age differently depending on the environments we had set up, including outside in the recess area. So I don't know why that wasn't more popular for people younger than me, but maybe it was just the state I was living in. The specimens attracted a great deal of attention. I just read that. Zoology keeper Charles Koenig studied the British Museum specimen in 1840, and Dr. James published on the Charleston Museum skeleton in 1837. Naturalist Georges Cuvier studied the specimens in 1830 and determined that they were human bones from relatively recent times and concentrations of hardened sand. Interest in the specimens waned, and they and the site fell into oblivion. Okay, so a third skeleton was sent to Europe in the 19th century, and this was accessioned in the National Museum of Natural History in Paris. The particular specimen raised the interest of Dr. André, curator of the collections of the Americas at the Musée du Quai Branly in Paris. André contacted the Charleston Museum a few years ago and visited in April during a research trip to the US. He examined our samples and concurred with a 1985 geological analysis by Dr. Kurt Wise of Harvard University that demonstrated the British Museum and the Charleston Museum specimens are from the same site. André provided us the new details on the life of Herminier and the significance of our samples. He also brought us up to speed on the site that produced our fossils 200 years ago. This site, known as Morel, is located on the northeast coast of Guadalupe. The site is still intact, but is actively eroding, constantly revealing new finds. Exposed areas are excavated in the 1960s and the 1990s. Morel has produced multiple skeletons or burials, as well as pottery and stone artifacts deposited about 2,000 years ago. The burials are trapped in beach rock that calcifies quickly, creating the stone or fossil specimens. In 2005, the site became an archaeological park. The fossilized fragments will be on display through August in our storeroom stories case. Casts of the fragments are on permanent display in our early days gallery. So this is not hidden. This is something that did, confuse them at first, but they quickly figured it out, that it was from relatively recent times, and that under certain conditions, like my 4th grade science teacher said, things can petrify faster. Okay. So I'm done on that part, and I want to continue. Do you have my timer? I can't see any timer up here. Let me go to, I can't hear you.
Damn, I didn't even say it. I'm gonna bring you down to so I'll give you 6 minutes, you don't mind, because I was talking.
No problem.
There you go.
Bet. All right. Let me share again. And then we're going to go to okay. Oh yeah, I forgot it shares the whole thing. I didn't even have to do that. Okay. This is titled here, and I know y'all heard Vanta say this multiple times, not of African descent dental modification among indigenous Caribbean people from Canamara, Abajo, Cuba, right? This is the updated study, and you tried to throw me a dagger earlier with the date, of 2006 from what I was talking about, even though I have the book, Making Indians White, and I'm sure you have that too. You're familiar with that book. But anyway, we can get into that later. But I want to point out here, this is an updated source, because it's ironic that you say something like that, because you used an outdated source. And here's the updated source. And I know it doesn't work that way. I was just pointing out the illogical, behavior right there. But so here's the abstract. You guys can check this out if you want to. This is a National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information. And this is actually the continuation of that study that he's talking about from that old paper before 2006, right? God damn, nigga tried to kill me for that. But anyway, let's go to the conclusion, what they concluded. Obviously, if they're studying this again, and the title tells you, it says, not of African descent, dental modification among indigenous Caribbean people. They thought that the modification of the dental of people's teeth was something that we only did in Africa. So they assumed that, like we said earlier, they have this racist tendency to just stamp and put jackets on people all the time. So they assumed that, okay, when we brought the slaves over here, they influenced the natives to start participating in its chopping down of the teeth and you know, shaving your teeth down and shit. So, but when they looked at it, they realized that this is not from, that it was separated from the pre-colonial and the post-colonial people, okay? And it says right here, this is dental modification, DMs. Dental modification at Abajo spanned both cemetery components, which lasted between approximately 1400 BC and AD 950, with an apparent burial hiatus from 800 BC to AD 360. Long persistent with this type of modification could indicate that the same population used both cemetery components. This notion is further supported by the consistency of subsistence strategies employed in both the OC and YC at the Canamar Abajo. They're talking about the teeth. As well, the marked differences in the substance and the subsistence strategies observed between Canamar, Abajo, and other contemporaneous Cuban sites. Further research into the cultural meaning of the body modifications in the region for both past and present populations is needed before we can discuss the motivation behind the dental modification practice at the site of Canamar, Abajo. Analysis of the dental morphology and the DNA, which are currently underway, will provide more definite answers to the questions of continuity between the two components and their biological identity, while the ancestry of the Canamar Abajo individuals cannot be ascertained. It is clear from the associated sea dates that they are indigenous Caribbean people and not enslaved Africans. So that's what they assumed before. That's why they were calling them Negro or Negroid. And they were saying in the article that the correct thing would be Negroid, because a Negroid can be compared to the Negro. That's why you can call the body Negroid. That's why they say that. That is the proper way to do it. Call them, they have Negroid features. They're not necessarily a Negro, okay? So there's different. African origin of the practice of dental chipping and filing can be ascertained in a number of individuals from archaeological sites in the Circum-Caribbean. In a recent paper, Schroeder and colleagues obtained a whole genome sequence for 3 individuals from St. Martin, tracing their origins to distinct source populations from present-day Cameroon, Nigeria, and Ghana. Slave trade records cited the presence of various dental modifications among the enslaved Africans and their immediate descendants, with fouling or chipping of the mesial and the distal sides of the anterior dentition, affecting predominantly the upper incisors, I think that's how you say it, being the most commonly practiced technique. Okay, so they assumed that this was only a practice that was done by African people, but now that they are able to look at DNA, they have better dating methods, and they have more historical records leading up to, you know, how these things occurred. They know that it wasn't proper to call them a Negro, even though that argument happened, and it was still open for discussion, brother. That's why I don't understand why you said this is covered up. They're still talking about it. They put it out in that paper. They didn't cover it up, and they're still having the conversation as time goes on, and we get updates. So I'm not sure where these cover-ups are, but they're very clear on this, and this is a up-to-date article on this study, and you guys can find it, like I said before, at National Library of Medicine, National Center of Biotechnology, and it goes in depth as to who these people are and their practices. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. I would like to say that I never said that the Caribs were African descent. I don't know where you got that from, and I never say anything about anybody finding teeth. The things I brought out was skeletal remains and skulls. I'm just to say it ain't got nothing to do with this topic, but hey, that's you. But if you're trying to prove that they ain't African, I mean, That's you. I'm not trying to prove anybody African or not. Oh shoot, let me set my timer. Sorry. I'm gonna take a few seconds off that. So you do know this debate is proving that Negroes was here before colonization. It's not proving that Africans wasn't here before colonization. Just let you know, and I already gave several breakdowns to show you that Negro is not exclusive to African, and you technically just agree with me by saying Negroid, because that still goes back to what I'm saying. Negroid and Negro is still technically the same thing as of the Negroid class. Negro class is still proving that Negroes was here. So I appreciate that dub right there. But we're gonna continue real quick. I'm gonna continue. Let's go. This right here, it says blacks before Columbus. It says Washington, the possibility that there may have been black Americans more than 2 centuries before Columbus has been raised by scientists of the Smithsonian Institute. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say about that Guadalupe woman, that source you brought up was nothing more than just conjecture. They just came up with an idea and say, oh, the skeleton just fell down in a sandstone. We trying to figure out, it doesn't go accordingly with our beliefs, so therefore we got to make some crap up to make it make sense to us. That's basically what you just read. Just saying, it's nothing more than just conjecture. But here we go. It says anthropologists for the Smithsonian's are studying 2 male Negro skeletons discovered in an abandoned cemetery in the Virginia Islands. They believe the skeletons may date from the 13th century, that's before colonization, because the soil from the earth layers where the skeletons were uncovered has been dated scientifically at the year 1250. I believe that seals the case on that. Let's continue. It says bones may tell if blacks in the Indies before Columbus. It says Washington Smithsonian scientists are puzzling over a possibility that there might have been blacks in the West Indies more than 2 centuries before Columbus. Institution anthropologists are studying 2 male Negro skeletons unearthed in an abandoned Virgin Island cemetery. So from I already read this part. We're gonna skip on down, but Douglas, I'm not gonna pronounce his last name, a Smithsonian anthropologist, noted that one of the skeletons had a ceramic vessel placed around the waist. This, he said, was a custom of the Indians in the area, most of which had left or been killed by the time the Spaniards introduced African slaves. It says by the time, we talking before too, into the islands in the 17th century. So this is way before. They found Indian garment on a Negro skull, on a Negro skeleton. And they saying, whoa, we puzzling behind this. And it says the vessel was of an Indian origin and pre-Columbian design. It says the mystery may be cleared up when carbon 14 dating of the bone taken from both Negro skeletons is completed. If the bone is dated around 1250, and what's it say, Abalaker is extremely skeptical that it will. Then it will be established for the first time that blacks could have, hold on, move this timer. I gotta move this timer. Blacks could have preceded whites in the New World by possibly 200 to 300 years. But I got dates even older than that. And they already proved that Negroes was here. This is just this anthropologist trying to prove it. It says pre-Columbian inhabitants who wore vessels like those on the skeleton included the warlike Caribs and the peaceable Arawaks, whose civilization was producing pottery by the time Columbus arrived. By 1956, most of the Indians had left the Virgin Islands and been annihilated by the Spanish. African slaves were introduced to St. Thomas in 1673. Then the Africans came along to work in the cane fields. There are no historical references to a black presence before that. That is conjecture. I got proof there it was. If the blacks were buried by their own people, Abby Laker says the presence of the pot suggests that the newly relocated Africans quickly adapted Indian customs. Again, that was later. It says, if buried by remnant Indian populations, if this is conjecture, it means black immigrants were accorded the same burial honors as the Caribs or Arabs. Again, conjecture. These are the real people. And it says the 1250 AD date estimated for a carbon found. This is what it says. This is the text. It says the 1250 AD date estimated for carbon found in the grave suggests another interpretation, although Abel Laker and his associates consider it highly unlikely. See how they trying to change shit around, showing anthropologists trying to be dishonest because it predates their theories. I'm showing proof that they do this, but they say it is scientifically conceivable that a Negroid population somehow preceded European colonization and was settled in the West Indies before Columbus discovered the Bahamas in 1492, or dropped anchor at St. Croix the next year. That proved my point right there. Let's see. Do I have anything else? That's contrary to this? And I know I want to bring now. I'm not going to bring out the pottery yet. For to go to the folder I named after. Is it here? Where is it? It's down here. Okay. Got 3 minutes left. Here we go. Maybe the oldest human relic, fossilized human of the tertiary period on Earth and Patagonia. Well, I'm going to show you who the Patagonians is. It says New York, February 26th. The fossilized human skull believed to be of the tertiary period, which was unearthed in the Patagonia and brought to the Buenos Aires today by Dr. J.G. Wolf, will, if it proves authentic and to date by hundreds of thousands of years, any human relic thus far discovered, Dr. France Boas, anthropologist at Columbia University and Wood, famous scientists, declared tonight. And they later was convinced, they later did. Buenos Aires, February 26th, discovery of the fossilized human skull of the tertiary period was announced today by Dr. J.G. Wolf, who has just returned after 2 years of exploration in Patagonia on behalf of the La Plata Museum. It's in the La Plata Museum. Dr. Wolf declared the fossilization was that of the tertiary sandstone and that there was no doubt it was formerly the skull of a human being, not an accidental formation. You hear that? Not an accidental formation. That's like how you try to play games with the Guadalupe. The lower jaw is missing, but otherwise the skull is almost perfect. The eye sockets and what is still more convincing, the socket of the teeth and the upper jaw and are clearly defined. The cranium is long and oval and the forehead extremely low. You know, Negroes got low foreheads, right? And sloping. So let's go back. How old is the tertiary period? The tertiary is an absolute term of the geological period from 66 million to 2.6 million years ago. Now, I'm going to show you the Patagonian Indians. And it says the period began with the demise of non-avian dinosaurs. Yada, yada, yada. We're going to pull that. We're going to pull that. Okay. Now, let's go. Now, you do realize that's millions of years, right? Millions of years. So what we finna do now, I gotta find that. Let me find the folder. I'm probably gonna have to bring it out on my next one. Yeah, on my next one, I'm gonna bring this out. It says the narrative of the surveying voyages of His Majesty's ships. We're gonna be moving on to the colonization literature. And it says adventure of the Beagle between the years 1826 and 1836, describing the examination of the southern shores of South America, 1839. And I'm gonna yield the rest of my time because I didn't start my time earlier. But we're gonna continue off from there.
All right, good. I just want to point out something real quick, that both of those things you showed, what you're supposed to be showing us is well, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but what I would like to see is the test results that they said they were going to do with the carbon-14. Those are the results that we would need to see what happened. And then even in the second one, they said could be, it could be. If this is proven to be true from the testing, it could be. That's what we're looking for. So what are the updated results? Just like I showed you the study, they went with those skulls you have. That's what's on the site that I showed you that you said had nothing to do with it. They went into further testing. It wasn't just them looking at the skulls and looking at cranial morphology. They started going into the teeth. They're using carbon-14. They're using other dating methods, burial styles, because we are updating the information. We know more about the environment that we live in now. So they were able to do further testing on it. So that's why you probably are thinking that it's irrelevant. But if you go there and read it, it's a long ass article, and it leads to the same people who are writing in the one that you presented with the same pictures. It's all in there. They even at the bottom, they're sourcing the document you put up. So it is relevant. But like you said, and here's something else that you have to understand, which was explained to you multiple times by Black, Rob, me, Suit, and everybody has explained it to you, that they're not going to put the word Negro in the, they can't put the word Negro in there. So that's why it has to be African. You can't put Negro in there. They're talking about Africans. So you said, oh, I don't know why you're trying to show that article, because that's something to do with Africans. I'm not trying to say anything about Africans. They're not allowed to write Negro in the papers, bro. That's one of the reasons we need to stop talking about this Negro bullshit, because they're talking about Africans and African descendants. Once you understand that, you'll get what I'm saying. And I heard you were in school, so you wrote papers. You know about the standard. You're not allowed to use that. Like, you can't put that in there anyway if you're presenting papers to people, unless you're like referring to what someone else had said at the time. Like if we're doing a paper on Walter Plecker, yeah, then we got to use the word Negro. We got to use things that they used at that time, because we're talking about that, and that's the context of the paper. We're not calling people Negroes. These are African descended people, so that's what they're going to say in the paper. So if that's the case, nothing I'm going to show you that's credible sources from the experts is going to ever say Negro. Why would they say that? We told them to stop calling us that shit. We told them to stop, and we told them what to call us. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that was funny. But I'm pretty sure your people are going to be like, oh, got them. They don't know. They probably not even in school and don't plan on ever going to school. So let me go. Let's dial this back a little bit, right? I want to go back up, because now, since we're still talking about this Negro thing, I want to show some deception and some context. All right. So I showed you this with them knowing they're here in the beginning. This is a primary source with them saying, I had showed y'all, and we're going to get back to it, that there was not one Negro to be found. Not one Negro to be found. Okay. And this is the same book. And I want to go to okay, right here it says NA, and I'm gonna just skim through this. Y'all can get, this is his book anyway. This is the book he uses, so y'all already have it. Just y'all not reading this part. In a pleasant country containing 200 Spanish families, beside the ancient inhabitants and Negroes, which all drive a great trade in salt, which is made in pans westward from the river. Philip, traveling from Panuco to Mexico, saw the way to the villages Notit by the Spaniards called Santa Maria, and cloister of white monks. It says next the viewed Mestelin, that's how you say it, were formed graves monks and a house and a town in Punjab. But they're separating these ancient inhabitants and Negroes. It's ancient inhabitants and Negroes, and the Spanish families, the explorers who pulled up. These are the people who are living there at this time. And this is something we need to key into, because up here, they were saying that there was no Negroes to be found. This date, if you go above, they're in the late 1500s. So they're thinking that there are no Negroes there. So imagine when they do run into some Negroes. And that does happen. And we're going to jump out of this book. Well, hold on. Let me check here for one more thing real quick. Oh, well, I do have to read this, actually. It says, the Moors or Negroes, right here. The Moors or Negroes, we're still in the same book, which are brought hither from Guinea, do all manner of hard labor. They know who these people are, and they are separating them. This has happened 3 times already in this same text. They're separating the Negro from those inhabitants or ancient inhabitants or natives that are in the land. They're separating it in your book. And they're talking about the slave trade in your book. You showed this shit. I got it from your TikTok or one of your TikTok lives or a TikTok video or something, or a YouTube video you were showing. It's not my book, it's your shit. But I want to go to this part here to show how they didn't know what the fuck was going on. They clearly didn't know who was here. And what is this? Okay, here we go. Verrazano's voyage along the Atlantic of North America. This is 1524. This is like 30 to 50 years before the previous account. And you have here, let's see where we at. It says they excel in size and color. Wait, hold on. My bad. This is not it. This is the description of the native. Hold on. My bad, y'all. My bad. Bear with me. Let me go down to it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Yeah, I move this shit down themselves from black and Canadians. Hold on, bear with me. This it right here. Damn, this is not it. Hold on. What the hell did I do with it? My bad, y'all. My bad. I gotta get this though. It's gonna be worth it when I get to it. Oh, hold up. I just had this damn translation. Oh, here it is. My bad, y'all. Okay, so it's this book. It's a letter of Pedro de Alvarado relating to his expedition to Ecuador. And I'm sorry for the wait, but this, when y'all see this shit, this is going to be well worth it. I'm sorry. We got to do this right. All right. This is the primary source. This is the primary right here. And this is just the translation. You can see the language right here translated into the English alphabet, but it's still in Spanish. And then you see the translation right here, okay? It says a letter from Adelantado Pedro del Alvarado, written to the king from the port of Posesion, Nicaragua, dated January 18th, 1534, informing him of the departure from the port, which the fleet composed 12 sails of 300 tons up to 40, equipped with everything necessary, and 450 Spaniards, including horsemen, crossbowmen, musketeers, etc., and 140 sailors and 200 black slaves. His route would be from 13 to 20 degrees on the other side of the equator to discover all the secrets of the sea and mainland. Guess what, brother? You were on your live and you were showing something. And I don't know if you want to get into Drake. This is the people that Drake was showing, the Negroes who were diving along the Pearl Coast. This is the people, this is the area down to the latitude, longitude, the degrees, 13 to 20 degrees is that area. They call it the Pearl Coast. That's why Drake has depictions in that Codex of Negroes diving for pearls, because those people set up their slaves on the Pearl Coast to dive and get pearls to them so they can ship it back across the water. So once we understand, like I said earlier, and my time's almost up, y'all. I'm sorry I wasted it looking for shit, but just like I pointed out here, decoding dates the journey from 1619 to 1492. That's important to understand. Go ahead, bro.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I can't stop you from sharing.
Oh, I gotta stop it. My bad.
Okay. All right. Now let's continue. Thank you for sharing. Again, you still proving my point, and this is the reason you are losing ground. You're focusing on my old TikTok videos where you should be focusing on the information that I presented in this debate. And I'm not debating the slave trade, and that's good that you showed 200 Negroes, not millions of Negroes, but 200 Negroes coming to a little area in South America. But congratulations. But let's go. We're gonna go ahead and show this this information, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna continue with the Patagonian. And we're gonna go into that manuscript, what you just said about Drake, because you don't understand Drake's manuscript at all. You just showed me that you didn't. All right, so let's go. Let's go to this information. I don't know why. Here we go. This is dealing with not that one. Here it is right here. I believe this. Yeah, the Patagonians. Here we go. The narrative in the surveying voyages of His Majesty's ships adventure in yada, yada, yada. You can see it for yourself. 1839. And we can see a depiction. We can see a depiction of this Negro right here. And we can clearly see in their goddamn face, you know that's a Negro. Ain't no friend on that. These are Negroes. Regardless of how you want to say, no matter how you want to look at it, those are Negroes. And we all know that colonists drew illustrations of what the people they saw. So right here, it says the Aboriginal natives of the Eastern Patagonians are a tall and extremely stout race of men. Their bodies are bulky and their heads are featured large, and yet their hands and feet are completely small. Their limbs are neither as muscular nor so large bone. We're going to jump on down. It says their color is a rich reddish brown between that of a rusty iron and clean copper, rather darker than copper. So you already know copper between that just mentioned in the, darker than copper. And it says, yet not so dark as good old mahogany. Okay. And it says, but every shade of color between that just mentioned and lighter hue of a copper kettle may be seen among individuals of various ages. All right. And they even talk about pale copper as well down here. All right. They said there's many shades of them. So when we get into the complexions of mahogany, this is what you see. It says a little bit darker. So we between the dark walnut, we're between the ebony, and we're between the special walnut. These are colors of the mahogany. Now, again, the reason I brought out the Patagonian is because the skeleton remains I just brought out about the treachery skull. It said it was dated up to 2.6 million, up to 60 million years. And these are those people. That's a Patagonian too. It's from the same book. Where's that? That's a Patagonian too. This book is about that region. And it says they are a dirty copper color. Yada, yada, yada. Same thing. And you already know, we already told you why their hair is straight. I already covered this a lot. But that's her face right here. You can see her lips. You can see her nose. You know dang well that's a Negro. You know, if she had an afro on her head, you know that'll be one of our people. There's no mistake in that. There's no questioning that. But we're gonna go back to Where it's at, Indian depictions. And we're gonna go to Drake's manuscript, the one that you just said, don't you dare bring out Drake. Okay, we're gonna bring out Drake anyways. But it says in 1983, the Morgan Library Museum received yada yada yada. We're gonna skip on down because I only got 5 minutes. But it says the volume known as Drake manuscript, entitled History Naturally These Indies, when it was bound in the 18th century, it was bound and gives us a wonderful picture of the daily life and the time of Drake many visits to the region. Although Drake's connection to the manuscript is uncertain, he is mentioned on more than one occasion by the authors. Drake himself is known to have painted, but known his work survives. And again, this is dated to be 1586. 1586. That's just about 40, 50 years after Columbus. But let's read this. You call these Africans, right? That's what you call. You said these are Africans. You said these are Africans was diving in the ocean for some pearls for Drake, right? But let's see what the hell Drake says in the description about these people, right? Because these are Negroes. Off top, these are Negroes. Okay? You see the big nose, the coarse wavy hair, all of that. But we're finna get into it. I'm just showing you how the colonizers depicted these Caribs. And you know the Africans don't look like this. Oh yeah, and to that statement that you said about Africans, is like, hold on, I'm gonna wait till I finish all that. I'm gonna wait. But I'm showing you the slide of all these many original Negroes of the Caribs. I'm going through it fast. Because I gotta get to the to what Drake said. Okay, that's my slides on it. Now here we go. This right here, this is talking about this one right here. You see, these are Negroes, some of them tall, some of them short. And this is what he said. He said right here about these. It says, when the Indian women are in labor, the Indian men gather with their musical instruments and walk around the house called the labui, and dancing, making as much noise as possible and singing in a loud voice. And it says, saying that by this means the woman's pain will go away. Well, guess what? Drake just said these was Indians, but you just falsely called them Africans diving for pearls. Let's look at the next one. These are two Indians right here carrying a boar. You should have read the bottom of it. It says right here, it says the Indians coming back from the hunting bring wild pig as food for wives after they have given birth to their children, saying that such meat is the best and most nourishing to be found in the Indies. That's them. He called them Indians. He didn't call them Africans. Okay? We can clearly look at somebody and we can tell that they're a Negroid. Okay, this one right here. Negroid, obviously. I know you saw me bring this out. We're going to bring it out again. It said the Indians make a big fire, and when they see the wood turn into charcoal, they took 4 wooden forks, drove them into the earth, and they lay several sticks across the forks at 1.5 feet above the fire. And it says, then they spread out the fish and meat upon it, and when they feel the heat of the fire, the smoke of the fat dripping into the fire smokes or roast the meat and the fish, which are good for eating. Good or whatever eating. They turn them often for fear of burning them. And when the meat and the fish are cooked, they have the color of red herring. Now look at it. Come on now. You called these people Africans. You called these people Africans, right? And you said she was diving for pearls. Was she diving for pearls? No, she was not. It says the Indian woman took their children to the sea and washed them. The mother holds one by the hand and the other by the hand, and the other climbs on the back. They scrub them well as they have no skin sores or itch, and they are clean all over their bodies. The Indian women swim like fish in the sea. The Indian women swim like fish in the sea. Look at that little boy with that afro. Look at this woman with this matted hair and locks. Look at this boy with this afro. But you called them Africans. You called them Africans. And again, I'm still proving the point that Negroes was here before colonial time. And he's showing you the original people of that island and calling them Indians. And we can clearly see they are depicted as Negroes. They don't have to be called Negroes. That's cool. We have lookership as well. I can look at you, Mofex, and say, you are a Negro. I can look at the Syndicate and say, they are Negroes. Just like we can look at these brothers in this manuscript and see that they are Negroes. And I yield my time.
Okay, good. Brother, that's fucked up, but I don't expect anything else from you because that's what you do. That's not what I was talking about. I assumed that you read all of it. So I was referring, you know what? I'm just going to show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about when I'm referring to the Africans or the Negroes, okay? This is what I'm talking about. I don't know. I mean, we're talking about us, brother. I'm not talking about those people. I'm not concerned about them. I understand we done slept around and we sharing blood and all this stuff is happening, but these are the Negroes that are diving for pearls. These ships, the style of the ships, you can see it on the Codex. That ain't our shit. They discussed plenty of times what they seen on the Mississippi and the James River and all that. They seen those vessels that they had, and it ain't this shit. Where they get this vessel from, brother? That's not our shit. The ones we got in Africa, they would be a little bit more sophisticated than that. They'll look like they're way more detailed. So it couldn't have been the shit from Khufu in them. They didn't bring that all the way over there, right? This belongs to those Spaniards or Englishmen. And I'm saying the Spaniards because Drake is the Englishman that came over there after. So it's somewhere in between, but that's not the native people's ship. And these are the Negroes who are jumping off the ship and diving down it. Let's just read it. Let's just read it. Pearls are being fished in the ocean between the mainland and Isla de Margarita. And then if anybody knows about that area, that is a very popular area. It's the Pearl Coast. That's why they were over there gathering those pearls from that area, diving in there, okay? Approximately 10 leagues in 3 or 4 fathoms of water by the Negroes who dive into the sea holding a hoop net. Let me shrink this, a hoop net to descend to the bottom where they scrape the soil where the oysters are in order to find the pearls. And the deeper they descend into the water, the larger are the pearls they find. Not being able to hold their breath longer than a quarter of an hour, they come up again and pull their hoop net. The fishing from morning to evening having been completed, they return to La Rancheria. And if you know what La Rancheria is, it is a settlement, not a place where natives are, they could be around, but the Rancheria that the Spanish people labeled the area is a settlement for their people and the slaves that they brought there. That's why they went to pick up the pearls along the coast, the Pearl Coast, and they returned back to the Rancheria, the settlement, to give the shit back to those people. And later on, of course, they did overthrow the Spanish and shit. So, you know, at times they were over there just chilling by themselves. And that's something we should start researching into because our people was over there kicking ass. I know those not your people. I'm talking about my people. They was over there and they beat the Spanish people's ass. They did and took over. They became kings, chiefs, and everything. And some of them even returned home. Okay. So, Rancheria, where they live, pearls are being fished in 3 places, namely the Isla Margarita, the Rio Hacha, if I'm saying that right, and the Cabo de la Vila. Okay, that's what I was referring to, man. But god damn, you ain't have to do me like that, like I was talking about them other motherfuckers. I'm talking about these chocolate drops right here. That's what the fuck I was talking about. And the reason why I did that, brother, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I brought up the reference earlier in hopes we could skip that and you just leave Drake alone, because I was showing you that that was the area where they pulled up at with those slaves. That was that area, the Pearl Coast, and it's in Drake's shit, you know, and it was on your live a few days ago, brother. It wasn't old. You were showing it a few days ago. And I was telling you I wasn't worried about that. I'm worried about pre-colonial. That's not pre-colonial. That's just people not knowing that Negroes are in the area. That's all that was. So let me get back to what I was trying to show here. And if you know anything about the Cameroons, not the Cameroon, but the Maroon people, there's shipwrecks, revolts, all types of shit happen, and it explains why those people are in that area. Now I want to go to let's get to these, the remixing and the way people look at these primary sources, okay? These remixing of the primary sources, okay? Remixing the primary sources, right? We have this book here that everybody keeps bringing up. The people are Black people are indigenous to the Americas, research material for the inquisitive by Kimberly R. Norton. I don't know who she is, but we're looking for you, Kimberly Norton. We want to have discussions with you about this scholarship that you're doing. You claim to be honest. You said that you were just going to give us the primary sources and show us what was said by this guy right here. And that's not what you did. And you are adding to the confusion in our community. If we're to find ourselves pre-colonial times, it doesn't need to be through your accounts of people who are telling you that they did not see Negroes. And you're sitting there saying that they did. Like, oh, come on, you're slowing them down for the journey they're on. They're trying to get to something here, and you're slowing them down. And you're setting them up for failure because we're going to check it. I'm going to check and see what the hell that source is. That's how I got the information, because I dug into the source. That's how I knew about this coast here. And as y'all can see, this is also another coast. This is where they pulled up at, of course, because this is water that we're talking about. But let's see what they say about Giovanni in this book right here. I have it on me. My camera's not on, Yahweh, so my apologies for that, but your people have read this book plenty of times, so y'all just gonna have to trust me on this one, or you can manipulate that I'm not showing it and throw a dagger and yeah, do some illusionary shit. But I have the book and I'm gonna read it. It's page 11. People read this shit all the time. And it talks about, we're gonna skim quick and get to the part where it's talking about the, it compares the skin. It says the complexion of these people is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick and not very long, and it is wore tied back upon the head in the form of a little tail. Like, I don't even know how that works with our type of hair. That's crazy. In person, they are of proportions of middle stature, a little above our own, broad across the breast, strong in the arms and well-formed in the legs and other parts of the body. The only exception to their good looks is that they have broad faces, but not all. However, as we saw many that had sharp ones, the large black eyes and fixed expression. They are not very strong in body, but acute in mind, active and swift of foot, as far as we could judge by observation. In the last two particulars, they resemble the people of the East, especially those the most remote. Now, I don't know why she wrote it that way, because that is not what it says in the primary source. In the primary source, it says they are not very strong, but they have a sharp, I'm down here, guys. Let me see if I can move it up for you. And that's the best I can do. Y'all seen me do this before, though. They are not very strong, but they have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. From what we could tell from observation in the last two respects, they resemble the Orientals, particularly those from the farthest Cenarian regions. We could not learn the detail of the life of the customs of these people because of the short time we spent on the land. So that was deceptive. That was like some very deceitful shit, Miss Norton. And you got us here talking about this shit, and we could have been talking about something else, but this is what people use. This is their go-to. This is, look what they said when they pulled up. This is not what they said. And we can go into the primary. This is his actual primary source. And it still says the same thing. Orientals, and mostly those of the farthest Cenarian regions. And if you know what the Cenarian regions are, you can get this, his actual journal, and it will tell you in the footnotes, the Cenarian regions are China. So this is an instance where somebody is comparing the people of the land to the lands that they've seen before, and they're actually getting it right back in the 1500s. And the DNA backed it up. They didn't look at this journal and say, oh, shit, let's make them from Asia because we want to make Giovanni correct. In fact, some of the Europeans are the ones who helped and put out these mistranslations, which is why Norton had a busted up translation. She didn't go to the primary. She used something else that was outdated that someone translated wrong. What I also want to go to is this piece, this other source that I've seen people use here that I want to make sure that we stop using. Oh, actually, no, we actually need to bring this up. Actually, let me see. 5 minutes, yeah, I can do that. This is the dictionary that I thought you were going to use. You got me. You went somewhere, and actually, I don't think you got me. You just showed the definition so quick. I don't even know what the hell that was. You said you're going to go to the oldest date where they use the word Negro. I didn't see a date. I just seen like a little snip shot. It was like Negro, the dark people, and then you just got the fuck up out of there. I think you learned that from Monty Muse because he does that shit all the time. But here it says Negroes. Let me shrink this a little bit. It says they take out this plant wine, which is that which the Indians drink ordinarily, and the Negroes. So even in your Codex, they have the Indians and then they have the Negroes. Here in this dictionary that you said from 1835, I went and got that Oxford dictionary from 1835. You said do it, and you were saying my name in that live. You kept saying my name over and over and over. So I was like, he must want me to go look at this shit. I don't know why, but I went and looked at it, and it's separating Negroes from Indians in the same exact sentence. And next, we're going to go into why this happens with the confusion of what they call the tautology of pseudo-writers. Redundancy, my brother. If the Negroes, the Blackish Negroes, the Black Indians, if these people are all the same, the Black Moors, right? If this all just means black, it's dark, they're referring to the same people, and we can just convolute this shit, well, then we have another problem. Because how do we make sense that someone is black, right? What the hell is a Black Negro? That doesn't make any sense. The Black is talking about the Negroes. The Negroes is talking about the people of African descent. They're calling us Negroes because it's just another word in a different language that is called Black. Yes, it was negative to hear Negro, 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 Negro. You're hearing that from the Spaniards. Now we're using the word Black. It's in English. It's less offensive because that's not something that someone was using. They adopted the Negro, Niger, nigger, naga stuff from them and called us that. Had it been Black in reverse and then the Spanish came after, we would be mad at being called Black, and we would have switched it to Negro if we dealt with the Spanish after. You see what I'm saying? So we don't have an issue with it. It's just how they used it. Here's something that we have to pay attention to: redundancy, repeating the same idea in different words, right? The Blackish Negroes. Racial sensitivity, using outdated offensive terms, like the term Negro, which is why in the paper they cannot say Negro, brother. But the article was talking about people of African descent because the people back then knew that they were talking about Negroes. But in the updated article, because of standards in our field of academia, they cannot say Negro, bro. We're going to crucify them if they say that shit. So they got to say African. Sheesh. Racial sensitivity, outdated offensive terms, ambiguity, using unclear and vague terms. Blackish. Exactly. That's the word they used in the dictionary that you gave me, the Blackish Negro. So the dictionary is outdated. The dictionary does, I'm conceding to the fact that it had some stuff in there where they use those type of terms, a Blackish Negro and a Black Negro. Like, that's racist people with their weird ass talking points and shit. We know now, since we're familiar with language and how the rules work, how logic works, that doesn't even make sense. So we have to be careful not to fall into their traps and their idiotic way of looking at life, right? Misrepresentation, simplifying or misrepresenting complex topics. Blackish Negroes, again, that's in your dictionary. A lack of clarity, providing unclear information. Oh, these people are, these are the Negro. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you right here in this book while I still got another minute. This is the cave dwellers, the cave and cliff. Yeah, Cave and Cliff Dwellers, my bad, y'all, by Frederick Schwatka, right? It says on this page 196, it says, these Black savages of the Sierras obey it more implicitly. And they're talking about this scepter that they had that people were scared of. Y'all know how the natives do. They'll put it in the ground, and whichever way you go is something involved in the Cherokee story as well too, how the brothers split up. But they would obey this more implicitly, however, than if it were a loaded Gatling gun trained on them. Whenever the government, and I don't really need to read that, I just was showing you these black savages because I'm short for time, pressed for time. Okay, but on page 180, I think this is 183. This is just like 20 pages, 10 to 20 pages back. It says, in appearance, the Tarahumari savage is, I think, a little above the average height or of our own Indians in the Southwest. And here are these people right here. And they called them black savages. That's how the European does shit. They call people out their name, but here they are right here and they have a name. They're not Negroes. Oh, let me stop sharing.
All right, thank you for sharing the information. Sir, I don't know why you brought out Kimberly Arden on Norton, because I never brought her information down, and you was debating Kimberly for about 5 minutes. Not natural. And again, let's go ahead and continue. All right. This is from the book 500 Nations. I'm pretty sure you know about this book as well. The illustration. And right here, this continuing from what Drake has said. It said 10 days after the murder of Pomispian, Sir Drake's English fleet that had been attacking Spanish ships in the possession of the Caribs and the Florida arrived on the outer island and made a contact with the Lane and his men. The colonists were almost out of supplies, and their morale was low because no relief ship had came. But anyways, just surpassing all of this, because they're just talking about the calamities that Drake went through. Right here, this is what the Carib looked like. Again, you close up on him, that is obviously a Negro. And again, I don't know why you playing these games, and I know you're trying to go into the how Native Americans are described as well. I already told you that America was extremely diversified, and I said the Negroes was here. So you can go into the description of Native Americans if you want to. I already agree that natives was here. But those people who you trying to classify, you saying that are black, you're trying to say those was the natives, and that is not true. Because we got the pictures of what the people look like according to the colonizers. And you have posted a modernistic book, and history cannot be updated. I want you to know that now. History cannot be updated, only software. Okay? It's like you going back in time trying to update what the hell George Washington did. You can't do that. Y'all just changing shit and adding ideas and philosophies to history and try to manipulate it. That's all you're doing. So it's fallacies of what you're doing. But this is a codex right here. And this is how these black peoples depicted themselves. This is before colonial time. Okay? So you can get the screenshot of this again so you can see what it is. All right. So we're just going to go through the codex briefly, because you're going to see multiple different peoples of different complexions here, especially down here. Oh, sorry. Hold on, man. I'm not even sharing my screen.
There's nothing on the screen, bro.
Yeah, I'm not even sharing my screen. Hold on. Hey, I'm gonna give us 12 minutes since that had happened for the next go.
All right, bet.
So I'll just give myself 2 more minutes, and then all right, we're going back. Go back to the right here, so you can see the source. This is it. This is dealing with a codex in Mexico, and it's going to show you different complexions of people that was here. You see the modern Native American, you will see the mixed, and you will see the dark skin one. And this is firsthand account. This is how they depicted themselves. See? This is how they depicted themselves. And even I got a better codex than this one, but this is the oldest one I could find. One of the oldest ones I could find. All right. there he is right there. The Negro type, Asiatic type, all of them right there. Like if you go through codexes during your own time, you can see this yourself. Oh, I gotta move this timer. It's in my way. Okay, and now that book you have brought out, I'm going to bring out volume 1. Matter of fact, no, not that yet. Not yet. Okay, this right here, it's an old book. I believe, do I have the translation of the book? Yeah, this is the translation. Thomas Sage, New Strange Travel Description of March Ladies. I believe they're supposed to say Indies. Basically like the same thing. And this is the depiction right here. Literally the next page. Do you see those two? Him bowing down to the monk. That's them right there. Those are the Indians. That's the depiction of them. And here it is right here on the side. It says Native Americans and Europeans present offering to a monk. Includes the offering of a bowl, animal skin, sugar canes, and frog or toad whose blood is collected in a vessel in the background of a volcano erupts. All right. So showing you that those two right there, it called them Native Americans in the description because it's from a museum. That was the museum's commentary. And you can see the guy bowing down right there. There's more. Voyage of Thomas Gage, the same thing. We're looking at how he illustrated the Indians. Again, on this side, this one I'm just showing you how they depicted them. From this book right here. So this go around like I'm just showing you illustrations. That's him depicted. From the same book. Thomas Gage again. Oh, never mind. That was from there right there. That showed their depiction. Now, this is how the Mayak depicted themselves. You can clearly see the locks. You can see that they're melanated. And you can see the other ones right here too. Again, I said America was diversified. Negroid depictions in the same location. Here's another one. United States exploring expeditions. Right here. And this right here just talking about, dang, why my screen keep doing it? This just, what this going to be talking about is just, it gave a depiction of what they look like. This is talking about, I believe the Caribs, America is still the same. That's coming from this book. And what that's doing is they're just talking about the watermelon that they found here. That's all it is. I just translated it. But again, I said this go around, I'm just showing really just depictions. Right here, this is a voyage of discovery into the South Sea of Bering Straits. And it says right here, the coast of California is inhabited by so many tribes that there are frankly in the Mission Indians of more than different races, each of which has its own language. And it says there is nothing remarkable in their war dance. And I only regretted that I did not understand the words of their song. The physiognomy, I can't even say the word right now. It says of these Indians, because I'm trying to hurry up. Of these Indians is ugly, stupid, and savage, and otherwise they are well formed and tolerable tall, and of a dark brown complexion. It says the women are short and very ugly, and it says they have much of the Negro in their countenance, in their face. I don't know how many times I got to keep proving it, but I just showed you the depictions of how the colonizers viewed the Indians. They viewed them as Negro. Well, some of the Indians, they viewed them as Negroid. Yes, the natives was here. You can have that talk all day, but that's not what I'm here to prove. I'm showing you the Negroes that was here in America. Finishing this off, it said that a Negro head may be called handsome in comparison with theirs. And it says they are principally distinguished from the Negroes by their very long, smooth, and coral black hair. Now he's describing the comparison to the Negroes from Africa to them over here. Okay, just like I got later ones that show a comparison between the Negroes that's here and the Negroes in the East Indies. Okay, I said I got 2 more minutes to this, and it says the Indians were of a black color. Let me set the timer to 2 minutes because I don't got it. Hold on. Sorry, hold on. Let me set this timer to 2 minutes. Okay, it says the islanders were of a black color, pretty tall and slender, and it says their straight black hair was tastefully interwoven with wreaths of flowers, and it says their neck and ears are singly ornamentally. So I'm just showing you they was of a black color here. Again, you already noticed anybody that is called black, they are called Negroes. This isn't something new. But what you're doing today, you're trying to change that narrative right before our eyes, knowing dang well these people, anybody that is black, they're labeled as Negroes. I don't understand why you're doing it, but in our everyday lives, you know this. Here we go. The next source. It says the structure of the Indians, which we saw in the mission, was by no means diminutive. And we're going to jump on down to their complexion. And it says their complexion is much darker than that of the South Sea Islanders, and their features far inferior in beauty. Okay, we're going to jump on down. It says with wiry black hair, that it is only by separating the locks with the hand that it can be got for the purposes of cleanliness. Again, you're going to have all this on YouTube so you can see for yourself. And these are the South Islanders. These are from the Pacific Islands. He said they are more inferior by the face and darker in complexion. So they're literally telling you they are darker and more inferior in the face than these people. I told you, if you're going to talk about the American Indians, you got to compare them to the Pacific Islands. I got more to show after this, but I'll yield my time.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, you gotta wait till you to finish. All right, make sure you get the timer on this one. Yeah, so I think I made it very clear about the language issues that we're having. And again, you just like earlier, you showed us possibilities. You showed possibilities, and then you also just now you showed comparisons. And I just like, it's almost like you're fucking with us. Like, I don't know if you're like joking. I don't get it. Like, there are comparisons they use. That's why I brought up Giovanni, because they were comparing. They said, oh, they got the skin like the Ethiopians. Yes, they used the Negro to compare against the other people that they're interacting with because they're in a new land. But they remember the Negroes, they remember the Syrians, they remember the Canary people because they already ran past those people. They remember the people of Guinea. So they're using it as an example to explain who they're seeing now. Some of them are dark, some of them got curly hair, they got the bold, thick features, some of them got the sharp features, the broad nose, the flat faces, all types of shit. Right? But whether they're talking about how our stature is, hold on a second, why the hell is my other one not up here? Oh, what the hell just happened? My PowerPoint is not pulling up. Hold on a second. Hey, boy, what the hell is that? But yeah, they Okay. Oh, damn. How's this shit going? They're using the people that they've seen before to describe the new people that they are seeing. All right. And I've shown, like, I don't know how many times that they separate Negro from Indian. But what the hell? Why won't my show? Let me see, show all of them. Okay, I guess it moved it down to some weird shit happened. So this is from the book, The Conquest of the New World, American Holocaust, right? It says right here, by 1845, the Indian population of California was down to no more than a quarter of that it had been when the Franciscan missions were established in 1769. That is, it had declined by at least 75% during 75 years of Spanish rule. In the course of just the next 25 years under American rule, it would fall by another 80%. The gold rush brought to California a flood of American miners and ranchers who seemed to delight in killing. Oh, we're not on TikTok, so I can just say that. In killing Indians, miners, and ranchers who rose to political power and prominence, and from those platforms not only legalized the enslavement of California Indians, but as in Colorado and elsewhere, launched public campaigns of genocide with the explicitly stated goal of all-out Indian extermination. So guess what, brother? It was legal, because we're going to play satire. You are the Indian, okay? And they slaved you. They did it. So I don't know what all of this talk is with what ducking and dodging. So if you want to be the Indian or you want to be the Negro, like the sister was telling us earlier, I don't know if you was on the live, they spoke about these things. And then we are on TikTok. I can get banned, so I probably should have said on a lot. But just go to the next page. So now y'all have that setting. That happened to the Indians. I don't know where we slipped up at. I thought this was a well-known thing that the Indians were being exterminated, and they said, look, man, fuck this shit. If we wipe them out, because some of them were saying, I know y'all know that phrase, we must burn them, right? Look it up if you don't know. You're going to be in a world full of teardrops and blood drops. So they said they needed to completely get rid of these people. But there are some smart people that were there, not trying to say that they were being, good people, but they did want to stop it because it wouldn't be a good idea to wipe the people out. And we're just on this land and we don't know our way around the shit. We have to get cool with somebody. We can wipe out the aggressive people, but we don't need to exterminate them, so they battled that within their laws. And if you read the rest of this book, it's in there extensively. So let's pretend that we are the Indians right now and we're still in slavery. The laws are still saying that they need to slave us. So it doesn't matter if we reverse the slave trade and twist it this way, this shit still happened through the discrimination, being treated different by the European, and being forced to work for little or no wages and being hunted down and unalive. Governmentally, this is page 142, governmentally, unsanctioned enslavement of Indians began as soon as California became an American possession and continued for many years. It seemed an excellent idea in a land where free labor was in short supply and white wages were high. Moreover, as whites who had lived in the southern United States repeatedly asserted California's Indians already suffered a savage population loss at the hands of the Spanish, make as obedient and humble slaves as the Negroes in the South. Let's read that again because I kind of chopped it up. Okay, California's Indians, who already had suffered a savage population loss at the hands of the Spanish, make as obedient and humble slaves as the Negroes in the South, wrote one former New Orleans cotton broker. In fact, they were even better than blacks. They're separating the shit over and over. They were better than blacks, claimed a ranch owner in 1846, because they accepted flagellation with more humility than Negroes. So they was putting them in check. They was putting them in line, and they felt like, okay, these people are like, well, they're easier to tame. So it was a debate between these people as to what they should do. Should we take them? Should we do this? Should we obliterate them? This is the talk about it. So it doesn't matter which one we pick. I don't know why they think that this is something to be ashamed of. We didn't ask these people to do this to us, whether you believe you're Indian or Negro or African descent, it doesn't matter. That's what these people did. They came to this land and they violated the people who were here, and the people they brought here from other lands they violated. They didn't give a fuck about any of them. Okay, so I just wanted to put that up there. I'm not telling y'all to go make peace with Indians and then learn their history and all that shit. I'm doing it for satire because you guys are claiming to be the Indians. So that's why I have to do that. And that's the story. That's what happened. That's history. And you have to own it if that's what the hell you're going to take credit for. All right, that's 142. Now, is this okay? There's a part in here that I needed to tap into. Indian docility. Of course, it's page 142 because that's 143, obviously, was believed to be particularly absurd when caught young. So a thriving business in hunting and capturing Indian children developed. Newspapers frequently reported sightings of men driving Indian children before them on backcountry roads to slave markets in Sacramento and San Francisco. As with Black slaves in the South, prices varied according to quality, said the Ukiah Herald. But, let me blow this up a little bit, but they sometimes climbed as high as 200 each. Bargains can be had in some areas, however, as in Colusa County in 1861, where Indian boys and girls aged 3 and 4 years were sold at $50 a piece, especially good little Indians, or as the Sacramento Daily Union described them, bright little specimens, might even fetch a straight trade for a horse. Given the shortage of women in California during these early years of white settlement, a likely young girl might cost almost double that of a boy, because in the Marysville Appeal phrased it, and that's something y'all should look into, girls served the double duty of labor and lust. Not surprisingly, the parents of these valuable children could be a problem. The prospect of losing their beloved offspring to slave traders, said the Humboldt Times, has the effect of making Indians very shy of coming into reservations, as they think it is a trick to deprive them of their children. And indeed, it often was. Thus inconceived, the slave traders had to pursue their prey into the hills. Check this out. There, when they cornered the objects of their desire, reported the California Superintendent of Indian Affairs in 1854, they frequently murdered the troublesome parents as they were gathering up the children, a tactic allowed the slavers to sell their little charges as orphans without possibility of contradiction. So they would chase the parents up into the hills and then grab the kids and come back and go, these are orphans, and this is us. So, brother, I just took your ass back to Africa, because that's the same shit we're saying that the Europeans did to us and brought us over here. Well, fine, you don't want to be from Africa? Let me calm down. Fine, brother, you don't want to be from Africa? They did the same thing here. The same thing is happening here. If you want to be the Indian or the Negro, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? This is from Sex, Race, and I needed to finish this because the brother Racial, he in the chat acting a fool. I was pressed for time, so this is why I jumped. So I explained the black part there, and then now we need to go to this part. In appearance, this is the same book from earlier, y'all. The Cave and Cliff Dwellers, okay? It said, in appearance to the Tarahumari, Savage is, I think, a little above the average height of our own Indians in the Southwest. They are well built and very muscular, with the skin of the cave and cliff dweller is the darkest hue of any American native I have ever seen, being almost a mixture of the Guinea Negro. Almost a mixture of the Guinea Negro. They're just trying to paint a picture for the people who are not there that they have to report back to. So they go, okay, you know what the Guinea Negro looks like? Okay, well, imagine, a Guinea Negro kind of like mixed with the ones that we have in the Southwest. That's what they're doing. They're not saying that these are the Negroes. They're not calling them Negroes. They're not saying they're Negroes. The Negro is constantly over and over. I don't know I lost count how many times I just showed that they compared in your books, your sources, my sources. They're comparing the Negro to the Indian. They're separating and distinguishing the Negro from the Indian. They're not the same people. Okay, and if you go deeper into the studies behind how along that Pearl Coast I was showing you earlier, you'll see that the natives actually helped train the Africans on how to dive for the pearls. So they brought them there, and then the natives taught them how to go get those pearls, and those were not the same people because there are depictions of those people explained in the journals of the people who came to Guatemala, Peru, and all of those places down. Okay, that's Central and down into South America. All right. Now I need to go back up here. I got 20 seconds. Actually, I'm gonna yield the time, and now I'll just get back to this later. Go ahead. Oh, but damn, how many rounds we doing? What the fuck is that? we just duking it out to somebody.
We just gonna do 2 more and we'll wrap it up.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I gotta wait for you to finish.
Oh yeah, my bad. Damn, I thought I was on YouTube and shit.
That's good. Okay, pretty good. I like that, pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer. Put it back at 10. Okay, here we go. Share screen. What I have to say is, in that book where you show those photographs is not from that book. And I have that book. What you did, you ran online, you found some dark-skinned American, Native Americans, or a black and white photos of some Native Americans to try to attach them to that. And that's complete fallacy is what you just did there. But let's continue though. It says the wonders of the Yosemite Valley in the California. Okay. And I encourage anybody to go look at that book and what he presented, and you can go see yourself. Those photos is not in there. But it says the Shoshunes, Utes, and the Pooh Utes are the principal Indian tribes seen along the railroad from Salt Lake to Stockton. In the Yosemite Valley, those are the diggers, so-called because in times of sacredcy, they subsist of acorns, roots, and insects of their grubs dug from the earth. All right, let's continue. It says right here, we get into the point where it says these are American Aborigines. It says they are a very dark color found in gaudy beads and colors and expert hunters and fishermen. Just get into their color. This is a very dark color right here. Very dark color. These are the very dark colors. Native Americans are not this complexion. I don't know what Native American you've seen. We still to this day have not seen a Native American like that to this day on this platform, on TikTok or whatsoever. So please stop the count, because you know these people are this complexion over here. You know the natives are these complexions over here. They are not the dark complexions over here. This is what I mean by very dark. Okay. And now we're going right here to this book. Let's go. 1797. If we're going to get the translation, I put the translation through Google Lens. All right. To page 249. And it says, such small means are enough to contain approximately 50,000 wandering Indians. See, we got a number, a mass number in the vast part of America. Among whom approximately 10,000 have embraced Christianity. These Indians are generally small, weak, and do not display the love of independence and freedom which characterize the nation of the North, of which they have neither the arts nor the industry. Their color is very close to, it says their color is very close to, that's a thing down there. They change residence very frequently, depending on the fishing. There's something else down there. It says their color is very close to, here's the next part, that of a Negro. And it says that of a Negro whose hair is not woolly. All right. And it says September, those are these people who are long and very strong. They cut them 4 to 5 inches from the root. Several have beards, others according to the missionary. Then y'all said Indians don't have beards. That's funny. And it says missionary feathers, and have had one. And yes, our people, there's a lot of our people who don't have woolly hair, like the thick, patchy, woolly hair, because my hair is not thick and patchy. My hair is coarse and wavy. Okay. And we still moving on in the same book right here. It says the two Californias. That's giving you the location. That's why I highlighted it and still talking about the Indians. It says the color of these Indians, which is that of the Negroes, the house of religions, the stores which are built of brick and coated with mortar, the area of the ground of which we tread the game. Okay, we're gonna skip on. It says voyage of in California. Still the same thing. And this page is translated over. We at page 164. It says the size of these savages rarely exceed the height of 5 feet 2 and 3 inches. Their limbs are slender and poorly muscled. And it says they have big lips. Native Americans don't have big lips. Come on now. And it says that project of forward. It says the project forward. Wide and flat noses like the Ethiopians. Tell me what Native American got big lips and wide flat noses. Come on now. And it says, I would like for you to show me one. And it says their hair is black, coarse and straight. Some let them grow to their full length, and it says, and then they fall like a thick mane. They got thick hair. And it says down to the small of their kidneys. But let's go ahead. It says their hair resemble the horse's hair, right? Now check this out. Look at their hair. Look at their hair. Okay. That's not woolly. I'm going to show you something. Look at her hair. That's a Polynesian, right? I got to show you the best people you can compare us to is the East Indies. When they was talking about the East Indies in Giovanni's book, they was talking about the East Indians, the Orientals. These are the East Indies when they said they were black like the Ethiopians, which you tried to play. But here they is right here. That is not woolly. You see right here. That's like the horse's mane. And we finna get to the horse's mane. Look at his hair. That is not woolly. That is straight. Now look at her hair. You see it? Like the horse's mane. Her hair is thick. It goes down. It is not woolly. Look at her back there. Same thing. And these are not African. These are Orientals. Now look at the horse's mane. Look at her. Look at the horse's mane. Look at it. Look at it. Okay? Look at it. All right? Show the next one. Look at it. His hair, shit, this one almost look woolly too, but it's not. People was only shown one type of horse. Look at it. Since we want to play these games. Now let's go to the next. How many minutes I got left? How many minutes I got left? Let's see. Look like about 3 minutes. Okay. All right. This is the source right here. All right. We're going to the translator. It says, we're going to go on down there, just talk about the houses up there. It says the wild Indians swarmed the borders of the settlements of significant numbers, beautifully grown and blackish brown in color. They have long black hair that flows freely around their shoulders. Come on now. And it says, they're just talking about them being naked and stuff. I don't have to finish that out. Let's go. This is the next one right here. It says number 3, all the tribes which inhabit the Rocky Mountains in the western coast of North America, from California inclusively to the regions inhabited by the Eskimos, these tribes bear no resemblance to each other. The stupid and pusillanimous, I'll say it that word wrong, I already know. It says Californians with their low foreheads, again, Negroes have the low foreheads and skins as black as that of the Guinea Negroes, but with a different cast of countenance to the later, forming a contrast which are almost white tribe inhabiting countries much further north. So they made a difference, but they made a distinction between these Negroes and the Eskimos and the white passing natives. That showed you that Negroes was here. And that's going to lead me to the question, bro. Who is these Negro type people that is described? It is not the Native Americans, because you don't see a mass of them like that. I can go on slavevoice.com and show us that we are not that we are not Africans, because only about 100 and some thousand came here, and only about 2,000 something came here in the South. I can show that too on according to slavevoice.com. But you're gonna have to prove who's these Negro-like people that was here. And you yet have not shown that. But instead, you show some modernistic photo of a black and white photo. Show me these like super black Native Americans. Please show me these people with the wide noses and thick lips. Show me these people. Because we still haven't seen these people yet. And it says, neither do they resemble the Mongols or whatever Mullins may say. So, all right. So you see right here, they're making a distinction. Right here, they just said who they was. And it said the writer should have said two exceptions. Since he allows that the Californians have black skin, while it's the northern tribe is white, showing you a distinction between these Indians and showing you that America was extremely diversified, not just one color. Quit putting words in my mouth, okay? America got its own Negro, the East Indians got its own Negro, and the West got its own Negroes. And I yield.
All right, good, brother. Okay. So I told you to go to the footnote, but I guess I'm gonna have to do it. Something told me in the back of my head, like I should have just pulled it up. So I'm gonna do it right now. And yeah, I'll just go. Okay. Giovanni, okay, I thought that you would just take my word for it, but I get you right, you shouldn't trust me because I'm an agent and I'm here to just fucking erase my people and all whatever else shit y'all been talking about. So the Sonarian regions, right? The last two respects, they resemble the Orientals, particularly those from the farthest Sonarian regions. Footnote 2, right here, 2. When you see 2, you go down here to the footnote because we don't use that term Sonarian anymore, but it was used before, Sonarian, Chinese. I was not trying to deceive anybody. That's what it said. And I said, guys, go look at the footnotes. We should expect our people to look up this stuff that we're looking at. I look up y'all stuff. Y'all should look up our stuff too. Like come on, man. Like, we don't have to do that. I don't know when I have lied for you to sit there and go, oh, they were talking about these people, not those people. No, now you're lying. Why didn't you just take my word for it? I said it was in the footnotes, and they told you where the Sonarian region was. It's in China. Damn. But anyway, let's go to but let's go to what am I trying to do here? Making Indians white. No, it's Drake. Okay, yes, Drake I wanted to go to. Sir Francis Drake, okay. In 1570, Drake again went to the West Indies. He again went to the West Indies. And brother, I gotta make this clear. I don't know what, I don't know what happened. Let me put the jokes aside. You're not showing me anything pre-colonial. I don't know if you understand that yet. The only thing you have for me is that they're gonna do some testing and you can see the results whenever you present those results, and then we'll come back and give you the credit. And the other one was that it could be. It said possible, it said could be oldest human or most ancient human or whatever that said on that article. There was could be an out to lunch type of information. So that's what we're looking for. We want to see those testing, and we want to get past the could be's. What were the test results, and what did they conclude, and what is the updated information with the technology that we have available to us, knowing about the dates and stratospheres and all of this stuff, petrification, that stuff is updated. So what is the actual date of that stuff? If you're just reading articles, I couldn't read stuff that was quoting acts and different resolutions and stuff from the government. This is stuff that is actually on the record and people are talking about it. It's giving you the sources, and you just read me the newspaper. And none of this shit is still not showing that we're here before. We're not here pre-colonial time. You're just showing that someone said that this is a Negro lips or Negro head and Negro foot. They were tall and all this shit. That's not really telling us anything. That's a newspaper article. So those results is something that we're actually going to need to hear about in order for that to stick. But this is page Sir Francis Drake, page 6. And this, hold on, let me go to the top real quick. It's a little blurry. That's just Drake. Come on. Oh, damn, it was under. This is his monograph. Damn, my shit glitching. First, Sir Francis Drake monograph. Okay. And we were on page 6. Check this date out. So we need the dates. God damn, my shit glitching. Damn, I'm supposed to be on 6. We need the dates before 1492. 1492 is where we're going to start really looking like, whoa, jaw dropping, what the hell is going on? This ain't making sense. That's what we need to see. Okay, in 1570, Drake again went to the West Indies, this time with 2 ships, the Dragon and the Swan, and again in 1571 with the Swan alone. These voyages appear to have been mainly for acquiring information, or at least that appears to have been their chief result. With the experience gained by those 2 voyages, he sailed from Plymouth in May 1572 with the Pacha of 70 tons and the Swan of 75 tons, with the total crew of 73 men and boys. By the end of July, he reached Nombre de Dios, and after a sharp but brief engagement in which he himself was wounded, captured the town. From Nombre de Dios, he sailed along the coast towards Cartagena, capturing several well-laden vessels. He doing the stick-up game. He's going along that coast. That's the Pearl Coast. That's where these people are that you're seeing diving, right? Capturing several well-laden vessels on the way, but making no stop of consequence until arriving in I don't know how to say that, Isthmus of Darien. There he found settlements of Cameroons or Samaroons or Maroons, Negroes who had escaped from slavery, with whom he entered into intercourse, and by the chief of whom he was shown from a goodly and great high tree on a commanding height, a sight of the Pacific Ocean. Drake is reported to have besought Almighty God of his goodness to give him life and leave to sail in an English ship on that sea. So these people are already there. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why we're saying pre-colonial, because pre-colonial is before the Spaniards arrive, before the French, before the Englishmen, before the Portuguese. That's why pre-colonial is important, not just pre-Columbian, because it could be something that's happening in between there. We got access to these journals and shit now. You provided some of them that we didn't even know about, and we're finding these Negroes there before. So thank you for that. But you need to read your sources all the way so you can see that it's not a 1619 thing. It's not you show me the 1800s, the 1700s. You show me up to 1580 is the oldest source I've seen so far, 1580 with the Codex. I'm showing you shit from before that. I'm in the 1560s, the 1540s, the 1520s, 1510, 1501. That's where we need to go at it and try to creep our way back before 1492 and see where the presence of these people are. The only thing that spoke towards that was those newspaper articles, and newspaper articles are not academic studies. I don't understand what just happened right there. But it says Sir John Hawkins on the page next to it, said by some to have been a kinsman of Drake, had been early engaged in the slave trade and in trading expeditions to the West Indies and Spanish Main. In 1567, he visited the Spanish Main and only succeeded in landing and selling his Negroes at Rio de la Hacha. After overcoming armed resistance, he finally, at Cartagena, abandoned his commerce. So the Negroes are present there. And you think they're not mixing? If you get into Estavanico, which we don't have time to do that today, but we can get into that another time, or you can go into it yourself, or tell Opium to get into it because he likes talking about those conquistadors. They were mixing a lot. They said Estavanico was getting it in. So I don't know. I don't know what y'all thinking there. But the next one I want to get into here is, where was that at? That one. Oh, the Racial Integrity Act. We got to go back to this real quick. Okay, so I showed you the letter and you said that was referring to people making them white. Well, let's look at this. Here it says, when crossed with white, the race mixture should be indicated as Japanese white. If with black, they should be designated as black or Negro, but it may be written as Negro Japanese. Why? Because it's talking about someone who mixed with an African, not an Indian. The Virginia Bureau of Vital Statistics is in possession of the marriage records for the state back to 1853, arranged by counties or cities and years, but they are not indexed further back than 1917. Also, births and deaths covering the period from 1853 to 1896. If these can be properly indexed, they will afford an invaluable source of reference for establishing color in many cases and for other purposes. If sufficient revenue is derived from the registration fees, it is hoped that this indexing can be done. Okay, and I got 22 seconds left. I think there was that's all I wanted to point out for that. That was specific, and I showed you the letter. Actually, there's one more thing, but I got 14 seconds. If there is reasonable cause to disbelieve that applicants are of pure white race, then that fact is stated. The deputy clerk shall withhold the granting of the license until satisfactory proof is produced that both applicants are white persons as provided in their act. Go ahead.
All right, I guess with me, that's the final one right here. And then we're gonna I guess end it, talk about what we need to talk about, then we're gonna end the live. All right. So all right, this is my final nail right here in the coffin. Okay, my final nail in the coffin. And we're dealing with the Codex Mendoza. You said none of the information I brought up was a pre-colonial. Yes, it was pre-colonial because those people was there before the colonists got here. And when they got here, they described what they seen. So therefore, it was pre-colonial. So please stop the cap. You said I brought out modern sources. I only brought out about 2 modern sources. The majority of my stuff was way before the 17th century. So please stop that stuff. Some of them was 18th century. And the majority of the stuff you brought out was some modernistic sources from a science article. So please stop the joint, man. And you're reading commentary to real information. You have not brought out Verrazano's real book. You're reading commentary. Therefore, that equals conjecture. That's why you're literally losing this. But let's go ahead. Let's finish this out. Let's finish this out because I already proved that Negroes was here. This just cherry on top. This is the Codex Mendoza. This predates colonial time. This predate Columbus. This is both. All right. This is how they depicted themselves. Go back. Come on now. This is the guy that founded it. He wrote about it. We're not getting into all that, but we're just going to go over all how these people literally depicted themselves. Again, the proof is to prove that Negroes was here before colonization. What is a Negro? One is judged by their skin color, their phenotype, physique, and their location. I showed you there's Negroes in every single location on the earth. And you brought out the Sonarian. When Giovanni said something about the Sonarian, you got to explain who's the Negro-like people, who's those black people that look like freaking Ethiopians in freaking China, which is literally the Orientals. That's what he was talking about in Sonaria. And guess what? I'm going to show you something on the scenario part since you want to play games. Look at the codex of these people. Okay? Melanated people. This is how they depicted themselves. Black, no paint. Locks, afros, and long hair. The whole 9 yards. There go the native right there. There go the Native American right there. Here they go right here. Here's the Native American and the Negroes all together. Pre-colonial time. Boom. Native American. Shout out to the natives. Boom. Look at that. And you see what's going on here. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the hell is going on because I'm saving this for my next lesson about the King of China coming over here to America, which I know y'all don't know nothing about that. Here we go. That's the Codex. It's telling the story of what had happened. Why are Why are the Negroid type fighting the Native American type people? Why are they fighting them? Okay, you seeing the culture take place right now, and it's crazy. You seeing a mass of people right now taking out Native Americans on the Codex. All right, still going. You see the natives over here tied up, prisoners. Montezuma up there, rocking his beard and everything. There go the natives down there, the captors. Then we got the giants and all them motherfuckers here. You probably don't believe in that stuff, but hey, we do. The other codexes depicting Negroes, we're going to skip on through because you ain't going to be able to tell through here. We're going to go to some that you can actually see. Here that is right here. The Negro type. There goes Afro. The woman carrying her baby. Negro type. You're going to see the yellow skins in here too. They ain't here. All right. Now that's them. So, all right. Here go the natives right over here. Again, I said America is diversified. Here go the next codex. On this one, they're showing the phenotypes of them, showing a broad noses. You're going to see some Asiatic type, but I ain't trying to show this one. But this is another one, codex right here. That's the name of it. Bagara. Look at these Negro type people on here. And again, if you're on TikTok, you need to take your ass over here to YouTube. Y'all can clearly see the page. I mean, y'all can clearly see the background. All right, here it is right here. More Negro type. You see the Afros, then there you got the European, then you got the Native, all right here on the Codex. This is how they depicted themselves. So you cannot get no farther than this, Factz. You cannot get past this, Factz. It's done. It's literally the nail is in the coffin. You see these Afros. You see these people. So it's done, man. The majority of this debate, all you've been talking was conjecture. The majority of this debate was nothing more than conjecture. And talk about, oh, they compare this, they compare that. They compare this and compare that. And meanwhile, you're missing the point that there was Negroes here. You're not explaining who those Negroes was or who those dark-skinned people was. You still ain't explained that. And you still ain't showed who they was. Besides showing some little modernistic photo, because that photo don't match up with what these people look like. It don't match. Okay? That ain't the codex I wanted to show. But so how much time I got? I still got a little time. All right, we're gonna go over here to Giovanni and show the real thing. Since you want to play around with with his book, you keep reading commentary. They'll go get the real book, man. Like Indians proof, and we're gonna go down here to where it says Giovanni's. All right. Verrazano alone, the Atlantic. And where we at? Is it in here? Because I know this is the same one you had highlighted. Is this the part where it said the Ethiopian? Oh, yeah. No, it's right here. Okay. We already know it says that they are dark, not much unlike the Ethiopians, hair black and thick, and not very long, which they tied to a little tail. You can clearly see at the back of my head, I got a freaking little tail at the back of my head. What else? And rather exceeded us. In the breast, they are broad. We're gonna skip on down to the part where they was talking about the Orientals. All right. And it says, from what we are able to learn by the experience, they resemble the last two respects, the Orientals, and mostly those of the furthest Sonarian regions. Okay, we are not able to learn which are particular of life of customs, yada 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 yada. And down here, yes, it said regions of China. You said go down here, right? But here's the funny thing, though. Who is the melanated people in that region? Who is the black people in that region? Who they comparing them to? You still ain't covered that. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you the Orientals. Well, I still got 1 minute. I'm gonna show you the Negro type people in that region, and then we done. Okay. And by the way, there were many scenarios as well. I just wanted to show you. Do I got it here? No, I don't think I have it here. Let me show you here. No, the many. Look at this. Okay. Okay. You see it? Who is the Ethiopian-like people that live in Scenario? Who is black, unlike the Ethiopians? Come on now. So really, bro, you lost this. You lost this. Majority of your points was conjectures and what ifs. Only what ifs and maybes. And you're trying to prove that the slave trade happened. That is not the damn debate. The debate was you trying to prove that Negroes was here, and you literally admitted out your own voice, yes, there were Negroes here, but this, but that, but this, but that. Come on, man. You already won. It's done. These are the Sonarian region and Oriental people. Negroids. And if we're going to compare us to anybody, you got to compare us to the East Indies, not Africans. And I'm done.
All right, brother. I mean, good deal, man. I'm of African descent, so I mean, I'm going to talk about the slave trade. That's part of the pre-colonial point. We have to talk about it. It's pre-colonial. If there is no slave trade, then you wouldn't even need to do pre-colonial. Like, that's the whole point. You're supposed to show that I have to talk about the slave trade because that is the biggest evidence we have of how the hell we got over there. Okay, you're supposed to be filling in the blanks, like you said with the conjecture. That's the irony that you're using the word conjecture like 20,000 times. You were giving incomplete information, and that's why I was showing you what I was showing you here. This is like, it's the irony of this shit. Decoding dates, the journey.
Oh well, hold on, bro. We done. I said we ended it with me. That was the end of it. What we supposed to be doing is just dialoguing right now.
1619. Okay, so what, I can't show this? What are you saying?
mean, you go ahead, but just wrap it up though, because it is getting late.
Yeah, so from 1619 to 1492, right? This is the starting point for how we started with this pseudo bullshit, and this is the date that we need to get past in order to actually be pre-colonial. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for something before the 1400s. And the Codex Mendoza is not one that's going to suffice, because the Codex Mendoza, as you see here,
hey, but
is written after. It says it right here. It's created about 20 years after the Spanish conquest. Before the Spanish is what we're looking for. It's 1542.
Brother, listen here.
So I don't know. The nail didn't go in the
listen, Mo Factz. I proved that Negroes was here. I use anthropology. I use how they describe themselves. And when the colonizers got here, you need to keep this in mind. 1492, they did not discover the whole land. They were still discovering shit all the way up to the 18th century. Even up to the 19th century, where they just discovered these Negro type people in the Amazon too. They were called Indians as well, which I got a documentary of that, but it was 20 minutes. I was going to show here, but I'll play it on TikTok so everybody can see. But the thing is, I showed the skeletons. I showed anthropologists inside, like you said, you wanted to bash the newspapers. These was anthropologists in newspapers saying, hey, this is what we found. It don't matter when they found it. It don't matter at the time when they wrote it. What matters is what they were describing and how long these people been here. These people were here way before they
said they were going to do testing, but we didn't get the test results. They
You're
said if
sticking.
the
You're
test
sticking. You're
results
sticking
come
to
back,
one. You're sticking to
if they're
one
correct.
thing.
Okay, and the other one was possible. It said could be most ancient human. Could be.
Factz. I brought out more than 30 sources on this debate.
None of them were before 1492. All of mine were older than yours. That's a fact.
No, the majority of your stuff was not older than 1419 or before 1492.
I'm not going to 1492
listen, the
because
majority of your information
I
you
don't
brought
need to
out
go
was
there.
in the 19th century. You only brought out about 2 or 3 sources. I've been typing everything in my phone, bro.
Right,
I've
but
been
I
documenting
showed,
everything.
But did I not show that those Negroes were supposed to be here? Because I placed the Spaniards in all those areas.
And
they
that's
were supposed to be
that's
here.
when you had lost the debate. That's when you lost the debate because you had agreed with me.
Because
but you're trying to
post-colonial. Post-colonial, they are supposed to be here. Pre-colonial is where you need to be at. It was not pre-colonial.
Listen, brother. What you're doing, and you said this yourself, you agreed that they was here. But what you tried to do, listen, what you tried to do, you're trying to attach those people to the African slave trade. And Drake already showed that there were Negro type people here before the African slave trade. Yes, Drake brought some Negroes here, but those ain't the people that he drew.
Trade, brother, we were talking about
listen, Drake. I mean, my bad. Listen, Factz. Listen. He drew the Negroes off that ship too. I ain't had to bring that part out because I wasn't debating about the slave trade. I'm debating about Negroes being here. Yes, he brought out Negroes. He brought some Negroes here, but the people he drew wasn't Negroes as the majority of his manuscript. That's the part you sadly left out. Now, the other part is you was not bringing out true old sources. For one, you only brought out about 2 of them. You was reading commentary about those sources. Conjecture.
Which one?
About the one about Giovanni Di Soto. That one. The only real source I seen you brought out was about the America.
I showed you Kimberly Norton. I showed you
Kimberly Norton is not an old source. That's they made that book in the year 2000.
Kimberly Norton just to show what people use, and then I showed the commentary, and then I showed the primary. I showed all 3.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I went from tertiary.
You was debating Kimberly Norton.
From tertiary. I went from tertiary, but you went to Giovanni. So I did it before. You just didn't know that I knew you were going to do it.
Kimberly was giving a commentary to Giovanni. If you want to talk about Giovanni, you got to read exactly what Giovanni said by Giovanni.
He said she was only going to give exactly. So Kimberly Norton made a statement, which is tertiary. That's a tertiary source. I followed it back to the secondary source, which was the commentary. You're correct. I'm agreeing.
Okay, so why didn't you read Giovanni's source then? Why didn't you read Giovanni's official source? Why are you reading commentary? No,
I went to the primary. What?
Bro, that source was black and white, bro. And you went straight to the bottom and said 2. I went to Giovanni's source. Yeah, go to it. I went to Giovanni's source and it showed what he really had said.
That's tough, brother. I don't know how you missed it. Here, this is her.
Mm-hmm.
This is Giovanni's journal. This is the commentary on it, and this is the actual text.
But you didn't read that. That's the thing.
Yes, I did.
You skipped past it and went to the commentary.
No, I did
this whole live is being recorded. We can go back and look at it.
I did the commentary first. Okay, and then I went back. Actually, I did it on the actual PDF. I went to the PDF so I could show you the footnote.
So you was bringing out pathos. You was just bringing out how somebody felt about it.
The whole point is I did tertiary, secondary, and then I did primary.
Okay, but look, the point is I already proved it. I proved that Negroes was here. I proved it by self-evidence, archaeology. Pre-colonial. When you need to understand this in your mind. When a colonist came here, they described what they have seen. That is described as pre-colonial. If I'm going to your house and I write down everything I seen in your house, what is that called? Now, if somebody came to a new land and they writing down whatever they seen, yes, it's during the time of colonization, but those people been there before colonization. That's the thing you not understanding. Now, another thing I want to touch base on. What y'all did over there in Port City Live and all this stuff was disingenuous, sitting up there talking over me while I was bringing my sources and not showing what I was bringing out. That is so unfair what y'all did over there. Y'all manipulated the hell out of the shit over there. People was on my side over there watching seeing if y'all was gonna be honest. And you was talking majority of the time. I was sitting there presenting my information. And when you watch my live, if you go back, you're gonna see me being quiet the whole entire time, being fair. So I showed y'all how y'all truly is. Be honest, bro.
Okay,
y'all are
I'm gonna
not
be
fair
honest about that. I did. I
Y'all
was
lost
talking
this goddamn
because
debate.
you were not showing me every
y'all
time I
was
look at the
dis-
screen.
y'all are
You're correct.
disingenuous.
I'm a real nigga. I can admit that, right? Oh, damn, you don't like that word. My bad. But I'm a real person. I saw 1800, 1700, 1600s. I don't care about what you showing, bro. I'm looking for before 1492.
Again,
So I'm gonna go about my business.
People was still. Do you
I'm
not
not
know there was still unknown? There was still unknown territories in America by the 18th century. Arkansas wasn't even fully discovered yet. Oklahoma still wasn't even fully discovered yet.
You said I was being disingenuous because I wasn't looking at the. So you're not presenting me the sources that you were supposed to present me before.
Listen. The rerun, people can watch the rerun and they can vouch for they can vouch for it. Let the people vouch for it. Let the people see. Okay, but this is in, and we all for to go live. We all for to talk about it. So don't know we ain't talking shit behind your back. We just gonna talk about the live.
Yeah, no, we good. We good. I'm just letting you know. My last final statement is that I'm looking for pre-colonial sources.
You're invited to the cookout. You're invited to the cookout.
Pre-colonial sources, brother. All right, man. Peace.
I proved it.
Thanks for y'all. Kind of scared me. Let me say this too. Y'all scared me with because I thought your wife was gonna be up here moderating. So I thought I was about to get cussed the fuck out. But I guess you was trolling.
I told you I told you I was gonna do the same way we did Port City. I am a very honest person. I wasn't gonna cut you out. When it's debates like this, I take it very seriously. I'm not gonna do you wrong. I was being honest. I gave you your time, even when I went over. I gave you extra time. We don't need a host. We both grown. We know how to do this.
All right, so, hey, now we know you get it in like that. We cool.
Hey, but tell Sutton I'm coming for him next about this Egyptian being in America because I got my stuff doing it. Nah, I'm joking. I'm just playing with him.
Hey, you recorded, man. You serious or not?
I was playing. I was just playing. You know, Egyptian stuff ain't my thing. I'll never bring stuff out like that. But yeah. Hey, it was a good debate. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a few bumps here and there, but hey, thank you.
All right, peace. Hey, and look. Let me tell you this. If you shoot me your email, I'm gonna show you some pre-colonial stuff that they're looking at right now, so you can get an example. Like I know that we live and you can't, but just pretend like nobody here. I can show you what they're looking at. That's pre-colonial. That stuff is not it. I can show you the speculations, and I can show you a cover up in South America where they burned down all of they documents. That stuff is there.
I already got some stuff. I
just want to give you those things as an example so you can see it.
I got you, and I appreciate that, but I'd rather come past the information myself than doing it myself. But I got a lot of stuff I still ain't reveal yet. I still got a lot of codices and manuscripts that I ain't presented yet. I'm really saving it in case something else happened. But I was gonna cast everything I got. But other than that, yeah, like I said, thank you. We're finna go live. We're finna eat this barbecue. We're finna chill.
All right, peace.
Family, whoa. Peace. Make sure y'all hit that like, hit the like. All right, here you go. Hit a 1 in the chat if y'all think Mo killed it tonight, family. Hit a 1 in the chat if you think Mo killed it tonight. Hit a 2 in the chat if you think this Mr. Natural killed it tonight, family. Yeah, I felt like it got a little off topic. My man didn't. He didn't convince me about Negroes being here. Pre-colonial. I think he. My bad. I had that thing running. But yeah, I see the ones, man. Shout out to Mo, man. Shout out to both of them cats. But yeah, he didn't convince me. He wasn't convincing. All of his shit was post-colonial. Crazy. What's up, Sean? I see you in the chat, man. Yeah, that shit had me going too. I see the ones, man. Mo killed it. We already know. But yeah, homie didn't stick to the motherfucking script. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if I might shut this down, y'all, and open it up again. Yeah, look at the ones, y'all.
Y'all already know, man. Y'all already know. He didn't prove shit. I didn't see any evidence to suggest a strong presence of a mass existence of black folks over here pre-colonial. I didn't see it. And then he showed we going live. Okay, all right, I got you, brother. He showed the goddamn, what was it? The Codex, not knowing that these are Aztec images he's showing, yo. We know goddamn well that ain't us. This was wild, man. This was wild. We're gonna analyze this debate in the future. Shout out to Sean. I know he's gonna analyze the hell out of this. I know he was writing shit down. But yeah, man, it ain't no damn way that's us. They had a whole Aztec war. They had a triple alliance in that area. You had Hernando Cortez. We talked about those goddamn Cortez, those what do you call them? These codexes or whatever. We talked about that. And y'all know that. Y'all know damn well that ain't us. This is a look-a-ship game and a wordplay game. You know what I'm saying, family? But that was why. Hit the likes, man. Make sure y'all like this, man. Support Mo. He went in there and did his thing. Sorry about the technical difficulties at first, man. I didn't understand that he was gonna share it on his live like that, because I haven't seen any on his live posted, so I didn't know. But it worked out in the long run. So I hope you guys was able to see this and hear it. But yeah, there was a whole Aztec war going on in there. And you had Hernando Cortez, and you had some of the damn natives siding with the Spaniards. Come on, man, that ain't us. There's like I showed y'all the map and how it was a whole war, and you don't see. We can show you a map, but I don't see no. There was one black dude in there. We'll show you the black people, man. I can't do. We ain't gonna do it tonight over here, but we're gonna analyze this shit and come back. But yeah, I applaud Mo too, man. For real. Yeah. I think Mo was pretty cool with it. I think both of them had bad blood, you know what I'm saying? So to see them get along the way they did, I think that was pretty cool, because it could have been ugly. So I think moving forward, I think we good. This don't got to be the last joint. Hey, but now look, man, we about to go on to TikTok, man. I know Suitin is live right now. I'm gonna shut this joint down real quick, and we're gonna have the after the show is the after party, and get it on TikTok. Let me see, where are these niggas? Where are they on TikTok, yo? Most still on live. So yeah, Mo's on live. We gonna be on TikTok, family. Y'all already know it. But yeah, he showed an Aztec image, yo. That was wild, yo. Wait, come on, man. Like we never saw the code. Like we never seen that shit before. That's not us. That's not us. Shout out to all of the ones in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like before you guys exit. I know y'all gonna go on TikTok. Thank y'all for coming over. Make sure y'all, if you guys haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification so we can track things like this in the future, family. We got 2 debates under our belt right now. We are undefeated, family. Make no mistake about it. Make no motherfucking mistake about it. Make sure y'all hit that like before y'all roll out now. All right, family. Peace, family.
With your relaxation, enjoy smooth vibration.
And I didn't think I'd live this long to see a nigga dance for a piece of chicken. I turned on my TV set and saw Hammer dancing for some goddamn popcorn chicken. That's a goddamn shame. What is it going to be next week? Watermelon chicken? Is this nigga's mama still alive? He could go to his grandmother's house and get a free piece of chicken better than that popcorn shit. For fucking popcorn chicken. That a bitch? He don't need the money. Hammer's on everything. I open up my Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and he jumped out. Hammer time. It's a damn shame. He's on everything. I had to pull out my license, make sure he wasn't on that. He's on everything. Well, what white man had the nerve to go talk to MC Hammer? Ham, look. We've got a great commercial idea. We're gonna, since chicken's popcorn chicken, I want you to do that sort of nigger ghetto move when we give you the cue. We're gonna throw the chicken in the air. You'll catch it with those big nigger lips of yours. We know you won't miss. And just to make you feel comfortable, you can bring your little nigger friends with the loud outfits and the heavy pompadour, little Richard little hairdos. It's gonna be lots of money for you niggers, so don't worry about it. Some very strange shit for a piece of fucking chicken. If somebody would come to me and say, Paul, I want you to do a commercial now, you're gonna dance some chicken, I'd stab somebody. I'd be on hard copy.
Comedians on hard copy, he stabbed 2 producers because they wanted him to dance for a piece of chicken. We'll be back after this commercial.
You can bet it won't be a chicken commercial. But Hammer's little ignorant ass. Yes. For a piece of chicken. Yes. Does this mean I could build a bigger house, boss? No, I'm being real. Fuck that. I'm just trying to be real. It's just a late in the day. Fuck the bullshit. I'm not going for the bullshit no more. No. It's late in the day. The bullshit ain't necessary no more. Call it, call everybody. Fuck the bullshit. Niggas gonna dance for chicken, they gotta be called on it. Can't hold your head up high and you dancing for a piece of fucking chicken. No, the real white, that white man's like, this white man's giving me that look, well, this nigga is sort of bright. Clever. Smarter than the average runaway.
Whites can help us, but they can't join us. There can be no black-white unity until there is first some black unity. We cannot think of being acceptable to others until we have first proven acceptable to ourselves. Concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. There are problems in the community. Some of those examples of those problems are the vices that destroy the moral fiber in our community. Drunkenness, drug addiction, prostitution, organized crime that robs the Negro community of probably 90% of its economic potential and moral potential. One of my reasons for going out on the limb as I have is to try and make white people be shocked, awake to some of their senses, because if they don't awake, they're going to find out that this little Negro that they thought was passive has become a roaring, uncontrollable lion right at their doorstep, not at their doorstep, inside their house, in their bed, in their kitchen, in their attic, in their basement. And if you know that in time, you can do something about it.